Sorry.
All right, a little false start here, but we are at Keystone Bowl 18 from Andre Reed Stadium here at Kutztown University in Kutztown, Pennsylvania. To our audience, hello everybody. What a beautiful Saturday evening for football. We present to you Keystone Bowl 18, the championship game of the Great Eastern Football Association between the Dauphin County Comanche and the Moshannon Valley Vikings. I hope everybody's having a good Saturday. I'm Tom Wilkins along with Rich Harrigan. He's on his first time doing the color commentating here. Howard Gaber, of course, taking care of the controls. And, Rich, we're looking at two teams here that one of them are going to go away with their first GEFA championship in the 18 seasons of the league, and I'm sure these guys are very excited about it.
Well, you can tell now just by the pregame warm-ups, both teams are prepared, ready to go, and no one is not happy to be at a championship game. They have to be excited for this. They have their family and friends out here today. They have a nice little crowd. It seems like both teams are very eager to get this started, so we can't wait to get underway.
Well, we definitely going to have a definite contest here. Now, keep in mind, this is obviously a little bit of different football in action. For those of you who are watching us for the very first time, you'll notice that it is a 50-yard field and not a full regulation 100-yard field. The 50 marks as the midfield stripe, but it is actually the 25-yard line. And the pylons up front are located at each side's 25-yard line on the regulation field. That is the goal line to get into the end zone for points. So, needless to say, this is 8-on-8 football, not 11 as we normally would see. But it is certainly going to be a very entertaining game. We understand that Dauphin County, they won the toss, and I believe they will receive the football first. They will be moving from, shall we say, right to left, Moshannon Valley left to right. We'll switch sides during the second quarter. Now, we want to let you know, and it's funny because we were talking, I was just going to say, we got the rules going on in this game here. Now, just to let you know, like I said, midfield's a 25-yard line. For this game today, we think the clock is kept on the field. This is considered outdoor 8-man football. Now, for there to be a completion, there needs to be 1 foot inbounds, just like you would have for high school or college, not the professionals. In addition to which, there's no pass interference for uncatchable balls. For pro and college, rules relay for intentional grounding. Also, let's see here. We have kickoffs. They go out of bounds at the spot of the 20-yard line. Or greater than that. Oh, that's true. Are we doing the? Oh, we're not doing the anthem. Okay, sorry. All right. In addition to which, touchbacks allow the opponents to have first down at their own 10-yard line. In addition to which, for the conversions, you get 1 point if you convert from right inside the 3-yard line, basically the 2.5-yard line. Also, you get a 2-point conversion if you convert from the 5. Now, it doesn't matter if you run or pass, the points allowed. So there is no kicking in this game. So again, only kickoffs is where you see there being kicking. So again, from the 2.5-yard line for 1 point or the 5-yard line for 2 points. You can have one man in motion, and if a knee is down, you are down, just like it is for college and high school. Now, the game is played with 4 12-minute quarters, and there are 2-minute warnings nearing the ends of the halves, like at the end of the first half and the end of regulation. If the game should go to extra time, college rules apply. So that's pretty much how everything goes. So that's basically how it goes. Now, keep in mind, it may not be the best experience of this, but there's definitely going to be a ton of scoring in this game. Now, I would like to also apologize to everybody. Normally, we would broadcast the national anthem, and we have a lady singing at the midfield stripe now. But because of audio issues, we are not able to gather them. So we certainly apologize for that. She just wrapped up. So it's not normal for that, but, hey, it happens. What are you going to do? But anyway, Rich, now the rules are explained. What do you expect both teams to be lining up, and what should we see for our viewers who are watching today on the HSG network?
Well, the one thing that I think anybody seeing this for the first time wants to get used to is notice the spacing. The spacing is a little different because of the narrowness of the field and the shortness of the length of the field. But one thing that's going to be recognized, regardless of what the strategic plans are for the offense or the defense, is going to be how the defense reacts, because right now it's not like 11-man football where you have support to back you up if you're a linebacker or if you're a defensive lineman. When you're playing 8-man football, you don't have a safety net usually. It's a lot of man-on-man football. It has to be very, very physical. And if you are not a physical defender, you can get beat pretty quickly. So I would encourage the fans to really look for that, for those sort of things, because you're going to get everything else with the formations.
And keep in mind the kickoffs go from their own goal line, and we're about ready to get underway for Keystone Bowl 18 as there is a load line drive that is knocked down at about the 10-yard line, running to about the midfield stripe and further down to the Moshannon 20-yard line. So a good return. That was a Crenshaw with a nice return and giving a short field for Dauphin County, who gets the ball first. They're in their white uniforms, white helmets, white pants, maybe orange shoes. They'll be moving again right to left. Moshannon Valley, they're pretty much all in red shirts as well as pants. They have black helmets and black numerals to go along with their uniforms.
Well, Tom, I would look for the Comanche are a very strong running team, although they can pass. They have a very good quarterback in number 9, Johnson. But they have a great running game. Right now, they're in a base formation with trips left.
All right, here we go. London Johnson standing in a shotgun on 1st and 10. They're going to go with an inside handoff, and it's not going to be for too much. The tackle by Steve Eisenhuth, also known as the enforcer. McCullough with the carry and brought down for a 2-yard gain to the 18-yard line.
Let me tell you, Tom, McCullough is a hell of a running back. He's got about 13 touchdowns this year. He leads the team in rushing or in rushing attempts. He's a load. He's fast, and he has power.
So after a 2-yard gain, 2nd and 8. Ball spot at the 18-yard line. They'll go 3 wide slot right. Remember, there is a man in motion, and this time it'll be Krager going. He'll switch sides in the slot. And here's Johnson back to pass. Rolling right, looking, firing, and nearly intercepted at about the 4-yard line.
I would tell you, Tom, that 78, the defensive end or the defensive tackle for the Vikings, he really gave up the outside. He did not keep outside contained. That allowed the quarterback Johnson to get around him and set up for a pass, although it was incomplete.
That was very close to being intercepted. Sean Steve came very close to causing a turnover. So now, for Dauphin County, it is 3rd and 8. Ball spotted at the 18-yard line. Let's see what Johnson does in the shotgun. Back to his right. A low snap. They play fake it. He's going to take it himself and fire, and it's a little high, incomplete. Looked like they were heading toward Devontae Johnson. He was actually closest. Maybe the ball was intended to go high over the intended receiver, but 2 straight incompletions, and it ends up being 4th and 8.
Great pressure by number 99, Steve Eisenhuth, the D lineman. He forced the quarterback out of the pocket, but he stayed right with him the entire time, and he forced him to throw an erratic pass. That was a great rush by the defensive lineman.
And a good job by the Vikings. And like I said, Eisenhuth is known as the enforcer, and he's showing it already in this opening drive. So here we go with 4th and 8 from the 18-yard line. Johnson in the shotgun. Let's see what he does. Back to pass. Has time. Dances in the pocket. Rolls to his left. Backs up. Fires it. Way out of bounds. Incomplete. Nobody home. And Dauphin County and the Comanche turn the ball over on downs. What a job by the Viking defense to force the pressure and cover all the receivers.
I got to tell you, that was definitely a defensive coverage play. They did a wonderful job. He had nowhere to go. Smart by the quarterback also to still protect the ball and get it out of nobody's hands. But the defensive linemen pressured, but they also they were prepared for him to run. They were actually, they waited as long as they could before they really brought the pressure.
And now the Moshannon Vikings, they have the opportunity to get the first points at their own 18-yard line. Let's see what happens here on 1st and 10. They're going to line up on a single receiver on each side. You're going to try and do an extra blocker along the left. Calling numbers here in the shotgun. Let's see what the quarterback does here. As Antoine Davis stands in that shotgun with a back to his right. Low snap, but he takes. Looking a little pressure. Going deep down the sideline, and it is caught, and it's welcome to the end zone. Just like that.
Wow.
Rob Albro with a tremendous grab, a 27-yard strike, and just like that, one play and 6 points for the Vikings.
Well, Tom, I got to tell you, Albro is the leading receiver. He leads the team in touchdowns and in receiving yards. It's no surprise at all. The quarterback, Thompson, has thrown for almost 1,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, and that's his guy. First play of the game. Great call.
And the amazing thing is that he's had 10 touchdowns receiving, and that ends up being his 11th. I mean, he had 426 receiving yards going into this game, and that makes touchdown number 11 for him. Beautifully done. Now, they're going to go for 2. That 30-yard line is the 5-yard line. As we mentioned earlier, this is for a 2-point conversion, and this is with an empty gun. Davis looking and firing. It goes off the fingertips. Incomplete, so the conversion fails. And the Vikings with a 6-0 lead. One play. And you're going to have to tell me, Rich, how that had all developed as we went abracadabra with that touchdown pass. It's an AutoZone replay. And, Rich, as soon as we get that fired up, yeah, there we go. Tell me what happened. Look at Albro on the bottom side. Tell me what happened.
Well, the bottom line is that they had man-to-man coverage down in the bottom, and they had their top receiver ready to go down deep. And the quarterback was taking his time, obviously, wanted to make sure that he got the play off. But this is a simple one-on-one matchup, something that they probably saw in film that this was a better time for them.
And this was the play that Albro made that diving catch to get into the end zone. And just like that, we go back live in the kickoff to Dauphin County, and it'll be taken only to about the 10-yard line. Good coverage that time by the Viking defense. By the way, get in the zone, AutoZone. We'll be reading a little flick on that a little bit later. But in the meantime, Dauphin County with their second possession, 1st and 10. The ball be spotted just outside the 11-yard line.
Yeah, Tom, I was going to say that. It seems to me like the Vikings, that was their part of their script to go deep, first play of the game, and it worked for them. Got to give them credit for that.
And let's also not forget, you make a defensive stop, turn the ball over on downs. You might as well go for the jugular at the very beginning.
The momentum was there, exactly.
And there you go. All right, so 1st and 10. As back is London Johnson, the quarterback for the Comanche. They send a man in motion, fake the jet sweep, rolling white. A pass is tapped and almost caught. It ended up being incomplete. It went for Devontae Johnson, who nearly was able to catch the deflection, couldn't quite come down with it, but it forces a 2nd and 10. And I'll tell you what, this Vikings defense, they've been coming up pretty much in a swarming format, forcing Johnson to throw when he didn't need to.
Well, they actually went to zone coverage that time, which is very unusual for 8-man football. And the quarterback, if he would have saw the receiver sooner, he could have got the ball out, but he never set his feet, so he didn't have a good chance to throw the ball.
All right, here's Johnson with a pitch out, trying to roll to his right, and not much at all for Devontae Johnson. Speedy got slowed down there and got maybe a half a yard, so 3rd and long now for the Comanche. Do you think these teams script plays like the first few for a game like this?
Definitely you would have to be, because it's – one thing you want to do is if you can get past the second line, you're almost guaranteed to be in that end zone in no time at all. So those plays have to be scripted that way. But the Comanche are a running team first, and I'm surprised that they're not running more inside. I didn't agree with the outside toss.
Going outside their element here in the early going to try and fool the Vikings. They haven't done very well at that. On 3rd and 9, now they're going to go deep ball, and it's just a little bit high, incomplete. They went for Kreger down for like a middle seam, and it just was a little bit too much, like maybe another 1/3 of a second. That's a score.
Well, let me tell you, from my point of view, he wasn't even open. He was being double covered. I felt that the quarterback was maybe looking for a pass interference or looking for some sort of desperation pass for a penalty. He really needs to understand that he had a few more tricks up his sleeve. He could have thrown underneath under the crossing routes.
All right, so J.J. Custer is back for the Comanche. They go 3 and out for a second straight time. And unfortunately, there was a little bit of an illegal procedure as getting a very fast false start with Nigel Williams coming from the far side. You'll notice that, of course, being a smaller field, you'll see the temporary boundary on the far side of the field. And so it's a 35-yard wide field.
That was interesting, Tom, because it looked like I was watching Canadian football for a minute there. The guy going in motion, approaching the line of scrimmage, and they're allowed here. So that's another rule that we definitely want the viewers to be aware of.
A high snap for Custer, and he's able to get the ball off and takes a little bit of a roll and then a sideways roll and then down at about the 14-yard line. So that is where the Moshannon Valley Vikings, they get their second possession. They only needed one play to get their first score. Now let's see what their quarterback, Antoine Davis, will do this time around.
I look forward to seeing the quarterback continue to sling the ball. He had a great opportunity because he had a lot of time on that first throw. They're probably going to be more concerned about the deep route now, so something underneath has to be open.
They will down the ball at about the 15. That's where the ball was downed. So it'll be first and 10. Again, the Vikings with their, let's see, they line up a Davis in a shotgun. Back to the right. A low snap this time, but they do get the handoff off. Not very much there. Yeah. I believe that was Jamal Albro, who was able to sneak through for maybe a yard to the 16-yard line.
Yeah, it actually looked like the running back slipped also as the ball was not there when he was expecting it. So it was almost like a double whammy right there.
So it was a gain of a yard still, and it forces a 2nd and 9 ball spot at the 16-yard line. And we'll see how they come out this time around. Now, keep in mind, not too many formations with this 8-man football, but here they're going to send 2 receivers to the right.
Yeah, they're going twins right. That's a nice formation. That's a great formation.
And an extra blocker to the left.
Absolutely. The tight end
back to pass Davis, looking. Going to take a low shot, and it's a little bit too low. Pass ends up going incomplete along the near side. They went for Rob Albro, who scored the touchdown, but good coverage on the part of John Bell, who was able to knock it away.
Well, great pressure up the middle, too, by the defensive line. They forced the quarterback to throw off his back foot. He really had a bad shot throwing across the field on your back foot. That's very rarely that's going to be successful. He's actually lucky that it wasn't picked off.
So 3rd and 9 now from the 16-yard line. And considering it's an 8-man battle here, obviously with both running games being stopped. But remember, it's early, and as the game wears on, I'm sure we'll see more opportunities. They will send a man in motion to the right, have all the receivers on the right side as Davis is back to pass. He has some room to run if he wants. Now he fires, and the pass is caught. There's a flag down.
Definitely.
He still caught it anyway at the 24-yard line of Dauphin County, and that might be pass interference on the Comanche. It's not going to matter because it's going to be probably a first down anyway.
Yeah, definitely pass interference, but it may have been a holding call on the offensive line too.
Well, the flag came at the end unless there are 2 fouls that we don't know about.
Nope. They definitely pass interference.
Well, it looks okay. So it is what they're going to do is they're going to make it a 15-yard penalty, or it's a 10-yard penalty. Well, he caught at the spot of the foul anyway, so it ends up being a first down and at the 24-yard line of the Comanche.
That may be one of those rules because the field is so short. Rather than a 15-yard penalty like in college, they probably make it a 10-yard penalty, which would make sense.
Well, remember, you only have 50 yards to deal with.
Right, that's my point. Right.
In this type of football.
They had the wheel route open on that last play. They might come back to it later.
All right, they go empty gun here as Davis in the shotgun. Now a man in motion to the right, which hits the man in motion, and falling on it is the Comanche at the 23-yard line.
That's the unexpected, Tom. This is football. These are things that
It was Tyler Dieter who was able to fall on it. The man in motion was Sean Steve. The snap hit his side and bounced right into Dieter's hands. A big turnover there. It's a big turnover, and here's Dauphin County at the 23-yard line.
Tom, you had asked me earlier about scripted plays. Well, that's not a scripted play right there. These are the things that coaches cannot practice for, cannot prepare for. This is the unexpected. This is what makes football such a great game.
By the way, just so you know, there are no 15-yard penalties in this league. Maybe 10, but
that's what I figured.
All right, well, here we go with the snap and trying to sneak through the line and getting out of bounds right at the line of scrimmage is London Johnson. He had to scramble to get back, and no gain on the play.
I was a little surprised with that call because they had the momentum now. You got the big turnover. Go deep right away. Throw a deep pass. You're not known for being a deep passing team, so they're probably expecting some sort of run. Get a play action, throw it deep. I think they would have had a better shot there.
So at the 23-yard line, it is 2nd and 10. For Dauphin County trying to convert off of the turnover by the Vikings.
So they send 8 strips left.
They send all the receivers to the left.
Right.
Back is Johnson. He has some time. Now he's going to fire, and it's intercepted. Taken by Albro. And Albro
might go back to the house. This might be it.
To the 15.
He got blocked in front of him.
To the 5. He dives in the end zone. How about that, Rob Albro?
Unbelievable.
A touchdown on offense, now a pick 6 on defense. Luck be a gentleman football player tonight. What can I tell you?
Tom, that was fantastic. That was a great play by him. He had to reach back across his body to get that pass. The quarterback, however, was flat-footed. He just threw with his arm. He didn't step into the pass at all, and this is what causes these things. Great play. They're going to keep the momentum rolling here.
And he gets his 2nd pick 6 of the year or return for a touchdown. Albro is actually intercepted 6 times during the season. That's his 7th and ends up being his 2nd score on defense.
Oh,
so what a start for the Vikings as they manage to get the score, and now they go empty gun for the conversion.
Yeah, they just have to get settled on offense, the other team. Comanche.
Let's see what happens. Back the pass, looking, firing, and it's knocked away incomplete, so the conversion fails. And it ends up being 12-0 in favor of the Vikings over the Comanche. What happened here as we take a look at your AutoZone replay?
Well, here they're playing zone, actually, because of the trips, so they can't go man-to-man. And that zone coverage guy usually doesn't get seen. And this is what happens here because he's hidden in the zone. He stretches back, breaks several tackles. He has a nose for the end zone, obviously, and his teammates make sure that he got there without any problem at all. I have to tell you, when you go zone against trips, that up the defender is always hidden, and the quarterback usually does not see that, and that's what happened there.
All right, getting the zone, AutoZone, as the kickoff goes into the end zone. It's going to be returned. There's an opening all the way to the 21-yard line.
Great hit.
Boy, that was quite a running start for Derek Watts. And a good tackle on the part of Cody Young. By the way, this Keystone Bowl 18 presented by Powers Creative Imagery for personalized professional photography and still artwork with hometown ethics and a hometown neighborly feel. Check them out. Email them, photopowersg@gmail.com.
Hey, right now, Tom, the Comanche is still in this game. It's still very early. Johnson, the quarterback, just needs to get his composure, and he needs to lead this team with short, accurate passes and some timely runs, and they'll get right back into this game.
All right, 1st and 10. They send all the receivers to the left, and this will be a pitch out. There's a hole, breaking a tackle and getting into Viking territory at about the 23-yard line.
Great call.
Yeah, good run that time. That was Colin McCullough, who was able to plow through for a gain of 7.
But the blocking by the Trips receivers was the key on that. When they ran that toss last time, they ran it to a single receiver side. He didn't have any help to get any blocking. That blocking was excellent there, and that's their bread and butter. They can run the ball.
In an unusual turn of events, we're used to seeing the sticks on the far side of the field. They're actually on the near side of the field today. So, but they could switch in the second half. We'll see. But anyway, they're going to say 2nd and 4 from the 23-yard line. Johnson in a shock and trying to play a hard count. And this time they go with a run, and it's a good inside run to the 15-yard line.
This is what I'm talking about, Tom.
And once again, it's McCullough for a 1st down.
So sometimes you get to these big games, you get a little too cute for your own liking. Just go with what got you here, your bread and butter, and then you set up the pass.
So they get to the 15-yard line. Now, I don't know what you call the red zone in 8-on-8 football, but maybe it's a 10-yard line. But whatever the case, at least a good start. And the first down of the game, by the way, for the Comanche. Sometimes you got to get rid of the jitters, and then you end up getting the business, and then you execute sharper than you actually do.
Look for this one-on-one receiver back here. This is a good matchup for the Comanche here.
Here's Johnson, the shotgun. They're going to go with another one. They had a hole and trying to get to about the 13, but that's about it. So that time, I believe they did Crenshaw with the carry. So it's a 2-yard pickup to the 13. So I think the Viking defense was ready on 3 straight runs.
Yeah, that's how the middle linebacker for the Vikings read it perfectly. He shed his block. He was right there to make the play as soon as the running back thought he saw daylight. But I'm looking for this one-on-one backside matchup with this receiver here. He's got height and he's got length on this DB. I wouldn't be surprised if they go up top.
2nd and 8, the ball spot at the 13-yard line. Johnson again to shotgun. Low snap. They fake the run. Now he's being chased. He's going to have to fire it, and he has to throw it away. They send in the direction of Devontae Johnson, but a good job by him throwing it away and saying, okay, we'll try it again another time. So it forces a 3rd and 8. Now, what do you expect Dauphin County to call here on this 3rd down?
Well, I keep looking for that up-top throw. I thought they were going to do it there, but they brought the receiver all the way across the field, which I didn't think was their best option because the quarterback still needs time to set up. Right now, they think have to do some sort of wheel route to get somebody in the end zone on the outside, and they have to go right to the pylons because they can't get a first down, can they? No. Oh yeah, they can actually.
Yeah, if they get to the 5, they're able to get to the line of game there. 3rd and 8 from the 13-yard line.
So you got max protection there.
Well, yeah, between split backs and single receivers on each side. Johnson awaits a shotgun, and they do the run, and it's not going to work. They went with a trick to McCullough, and it didn't work because the sackmaster, Jimmy Warner, was in on him and forces a 4-yard loss.
Well, unless you were going to use those backs to chip block and then go out for a pass, I don't think the defense was surprised at all.
And we have a timeout going to be called by Dauphin County. So why don't we take a quick break here in the first. 12-0 Vikings over the Comanche. We'll be back in a moment. Back here at Kutztown University and Andre Reed Stadium. Thank you for joining us for Keystone Bowl 18 here on the HSG Network. Hey, we got plenty more events going on during the summer, so please make sure you subscribe to HSG Network. Follow us. Plenty of good stuff coming in July and August. So make sure you come subscribe to us here on HSG Network for all you fans here at GEFA. Definitely very appreciative to be here in Kutztown this evening.
Big down here, Tom.
All right, 4th and 12. They go empty gun with Johnson. All the receivers on the right with a little extra blocking. Takes the snap. Looking, now being chased. Pocket collapses. Does he have room to roam? He may have to run. He will. To the 30. He's going to be short. He's about a yard short of a first down at about the 6.
Well, that's the only
Probably
indicator.
should have taken a dive and maybe gone a couple extra yards. But it's going to be based on where the officials spot the ball.
It's going to be close, Tom.
I think he might be half a yard short. And that's exactly what the officials are saying.
Wow.
So Johnson just a little bit short. He needed 12. He got 11 and a half. And Moshannon Value is having an excellent first quarter. They get the ball on downs again.
Listen, in these situations, the quarterback or whoever running the ball has to know the down and distance and has to know where the first down marker is. He definitely has to get there. That's a must play for that quarterback to know that first down marker and get it there. He had open field blocking. He had one man in front of him. He should have made that first down. But
I definitely agree. I mean, if he maybe tried to dive for the pylon, maybe stuck the ball out, but I don't know. Well, whatever the case, it is 1st and 10 from the 6-yard line. As there's an inside handoff and waiting
great
for
play
the
by
back
the
is the Comanche defense.
Number 99 on Comanche was excellent on that play. That was a great play.
Benjamin Mathis. I believe also a Darius Crenshaw was in. Keep in mind, some of the players play both sides of the ball. So they're involved in offense and defense. Like, for instance, Rob Alfro from the Vikings caught a touchdown pass, had a pick 6, all in the first quarter, and that's all the scoring in this game. Now let's see what the Vikings do on 2nd, and it's going to be about 11. Ball spot at the 5-yard line, so a little bit dangerous territory for Antoine Davis. Stands in his shotgun, and everyone moved before the ball did.
Yeah.
So it's going to be half the distance to the goal, so an illegal snap.
The center didn't move at all.
And we see that a lot. It's like you get the count, and everyone moves. It's like everyone moves, but the ball does.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I think every team does that. While they discuss the penalty, we'll remind you Keystone Bowl 18 presented by Thunder Tats Tattoo Studio, who offers tattoos and piercings primarily by appointment, but they take walk-ins time permitting. It's a $50 minimum, and it's a studio which is the only place to go and have work done. And keep in mind, they have Thor there, who's an amazing artist, and his staff is very talented also. So check him out. Thunder Tats Tattoo Studio. Always a great experience going there. Call 814-762-0119 for an appointment.
Yeah. I got to tell you, the Vikings have to be careful down here. This is a very crucial series for them because if they turn the ball over down here or they make any crucial mistakes, it'll get the Comanche right back in this game and in scoring position.
Well, fans are starting to yell. I don't know if they're trying to support both teams or if it's the spot of the ball. And now the officials – actually the penalty's going to be on Dauphin County. So they move first. When the ball wasn't snapped, I believe they jumped offside. So the officials obviously taking their time to figure out what the heck's going on. And I'll tell you what, Marcus Holden wasn't too happy, but back to action we go. Thanks to the 5-yard penalty, it is 2nd and 6, actually 2nd and 5. And now somebody else jumped, and now both teams are pointing at each other saying, you did it, you did it. We see that all the time on any level of football.
Right now is the time for the captains on both sides of the ball to take control of the situation and talk to their guys, get their composure. It's still early in the game. They're just being razzled by the play before. They need to focus on the next play, always ready for the next play.
Well, even if it is against Dauphin County, it'll make it a 2nd and 1. Because remember, it was a 1-yard loss, and then came the dead ball foul. And now back-to-back neutral zone infractions move it to the 40-yard line, and you went from 2nd and 11 to 2nd and 1 just like that.
Wow.
And I think for Dauphin County, they're just going to need to try and reassert themselves with discipline. And now we have another official timeout. So while they discuss real quick, let's go ahead and send shouts out to the Rusty Dog Custom Printing, which is a proud sponsor of Keystone Bowl 18. But we'll come back to that, and we'll get their sponsor in later. But it's 2nd and a yard from the 15-yard line. Here's a handoff, and ending up going back to the line of scrimmage, the 15-yard line. Jamal Albro with the carry, and he was lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. Dauphin County nearly jumped again, but they got away with it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looked like somebody jumped or somebody moved on the offensive line and didn't get a call, so the referees missed that, but that happens. I mean, this is football. There's probably a penalty on every play, but referees are going to call what they see.
If the referees were robots, there would be a penalty on every play,
Exactly.
and they'd be 5-hour games instead of 3.5.
Exactly. So if the referee didn't call it, then it didn't happen.
But anyway, it is 3rd and a yard from their own 15-yard line. Quarterback Antoine Davis, a little bit of a different formation. They go modified, it looks like. And now they're pushing back Wes Ritchie in a rocket formation. The handoff looks like he got a first down there. Yeah, they're going to give it to him. Got a yard and a half.
Great call by the offense. You have the Comanche defense. They're back on the hills. They got back-to-back penalties. They're a little out of their wits right now. And anything you do right now going forward, you should be winning those battles, and they just did on that short yardage.
Actually, they haven't moved the sticks yet. They may want to call the chain gang for this one.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because the ball is spotted just shy of the 16-yard line, which would be a regulation 41-yard line for a regular field. But so we may have we're going to have an official timeout. So I'll read the sponsor for Rusty Dog, who offers custom items such as T-shirts, hoodies, tumblers, keychains, photo slates, Charmelex, and a whole lot more. You can advertise your business, preserve your photo memories, represent your school, your sports team, or just even express yourself. The ideas are endless. The Rusty Dog Custom Printing, their apparel items are done in vinyl or sublimation, and they can also do design logos or put a twist on your own creative ideas if you wish. Call them 570-237-6653 for more details. Now we're going to throw some YouTube comments at the very top of the screen. And of course, I didn't even notice that. Kale Big K says, let's go Comanches. The chain gang says they're short by about a foot. And, oh, wow. Cody Lamoureux, crazy shots to him. Lehigh Valley veteran, of course, in the semi-pro ranks. And he's in Brazil? All right, I'm jealous. But it's their winter down there.
Hey,
let's not forget.
Come on, good for him.
Hope
good
he's enjoying the vacation. And something else. Oh, he's playing down there. I had no idea. Anyway, 4th and a half a yard. Let's see what happens with this play. As Davis in the shotgun, you know they'll all be coming. They go with a handoff, and they're going to be thrown back for a yard loss. Big stop by the Comanche. They finally turned things around, a 1-yard loss.
What did I just say to you, Tom?
Yep, they go for it in their own territory, and it did not work.
You got to be careful down here. You get 10 free yards, basically, on back-to-back penalties, and you change your game plan to a running game, which is not your style. They should have been passing the ball right after that last penalty, throw them off guard. You got to be careful down here. This is very crucial territory. Now they get the ball back.
And we'll see what happens there. Real quick, mentioning Cody in his comments, his compadres who want to send crazy shots and birthday wishes. Corey Martinez celebrating a birthday today. So
happy birthday.
Yep, many happy returns to him. Is 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line for the Comanche. Let's see what London Johnson does. Sees he gets some points on the board here late in the first quarter. They go with an inside handoff. McCullough is not going to get back to the line of scrimmage, and if he does, he'd be lucky, but it looks like he's going to have a 1-yard loss back to the 16-yard line. I think there was a slow developing play there.
Yeah, it seemed like they weren't too sure of what the defense was showing them. I think it changed up some of their blocking, and they weren't able to match it.
So it forces a 2nd and 11. Remember, they can get to the 5 for goal to go. Let's see how the Comanche line up. They're going to line up a receiver on each side, extra blocker on the left.
They need some play action, Tom. They really do.
Let's see what Johnson does. In the shotgun, awaiting the snap. A low pitch out, and McCullough will sneak through a tackle, and second effort gets into the 10-yard line. Gain of 6 on the play. The Vikings saying his knee was down at the 11, but the officials, or at least the near judge, saying the 10-yard line. So 3rd and 5 coming up, as it looks like we're in the final 2 minutes of the first quarter. But again, official time is kept on the field.
Tom, that was great individual effort. He was stopped back, and he got more out of it. And that's the sort of determination that their running game has had all year, obviously. And he may be the guy that they need to go to if this game gets closer down the stretch.
So 3rd and 5 from the 10. Johnson to shotgun, receiver each side. Now they're going to send the left receiver to the right. Takes a snap, rolling, firing.
Receiver wasn't looking.
And nobody was looking. Ends up going incomplete.
It's as if you thought somebody else was getting the pass.
That was an unusual looking developing play because it looked like nobody was moving in the shotgun snap.
I actually thought the play call was pretty fresh because a little misdirection. The quarterback half rolled out and stopped, and he threw the ball out quickly, and nobody was looking for the pass.
Well, it goes incomplete, and it forces now 4th and 5, the ball at the 10-yard line. Best chance for the Comanche already, and we're going to see what they do or how they come out.
We have not seen the Comanche go to the end zone yet. I'm very surprised.
Well, we'll see what they do. They're down 12-0, but remember, it's still early.
They get a first down still.
Yes, they can. 4th and 5. Johnson to shotgun, 2 receivers right, takes it, fires, and it's knocked out incomplete. I think Jordan Bell was in the way of the receiver. And again, the Comanche turned the ball over on downs, and that fourth down stop does not result into anything. And again, Jordan Bell breaks it up, and obviously, again, might be the routes, might be the nerves, I'm not sure. So, Rich, I mean, Dauphin County, you don't usually see this from this team, and it just seems like they're kind of like one step behind what the Vikings are doing.
So I've coached for quite a few years on different levels, and sometimes you get into these big games, you really prepare yourself almost too much, and you try to get a little too cute, as I was saying earlier. So you really need to be able to adjust to what you do best. It sounds weird, but that's true.
Well, it's a coach's perspective here. But before we get the first play off, we have a false start this time against the Vikings, so that's their first penalty of the game. That moves them back all the way to the 5-yard line and makes it a 1st and 15.
So let's take a real moment to get back to what we were just talking about. Why are you throwing the ball too quickly when your receivers are not prepared? So there's something that you're doing different that you probably haven't done all year. That's what that seems like, because the timing is all off there. So that's what I'm saying, that they had to do routes that they normally do and run the ball the way they normally have.
All right, so now 1st and 15, ball back at the 5-yard line for the quarterback, Antoine Davis. In the shotgun, he takes it, goes back, fires, and that was close, incomplete. One for Malik Breon, but in the way was Kenneth Reed, and luckily he was in the way. Otherwise, it would have been a big problem there on the defensive side. But it's also, I think, in regards to the Comanche, maybe it's possible that the defensive push by the Vikings have caused them to go a little bit early.
Oh, that's definite. They have the right pressure. But one thing I noticed about this game, the 8-man football, throwing the seam routes and throwing down the middle is not as easy as we may think. I think that spacing is another issue compared to 11-man football that people have to understand. That's why some of these passes are not getting to the receivers, because you're not getting time to develop the routes, actually.
All right, so 2nd and 15 from the 5. Here's Davis. Awaits a shotgun snap. They're going to go inside handoff. And the Comanche were waiting only about a yard, if they're lucky, down to the 6.
Do you see how huge that first play by the Vikings was, that first touchdown, that right out of the gate? And then they had the interception, because this game now is getting down to a struggle, a real defensive struggle now. Those points in the beginning were so huge to come off like that.
I definitely agree with you there. And a lot of times there's emotion that goes along with points, but eventually that type of air goes out of the tank and becomes an even-Steven game, and eventually the other side may have the momentum.
Absolutely.
So coming down to 30 seconds left in the first, it's 3rd and 10, or actually 3rd and 15 from that 5-yard line. Davis back. He's under a rush. He's going to have to launch. He got a guy open, and it is intercepted off a tap. And that is Quinn Thomas, who steps out of the midfield stripe.
He was wide open. Unbelievable.
It got tipped and beautifully intercepted by Thomas, who forces the second turnover on the part of the Vikings. And with 16 seconds left in the first, I'll tell you, that's an amazing play.
Great play call. He had the hook and ladder going. No, excuse me, not the hook and ladder. He had the...
Well, why don't we take a look at this AutoZone replay? You can describe what happened. I don't think it was Butterfingers or anything like that, but maybe it was a lucky bounce.
Watch this here. The receiver does he does an out and up, not a hook and ladder. Out and up. He was wide open. He just tipped off.
I think
great anticipation by the defensive back.
That is very true. Get in the zone, AutoZone. That ends up being, and I think it may have been thrown a little bit behind him too. I was just going to point out.
Yes.
All right, so 1st and 10, the 24 of the Vikings for the Comanche, trying to take advantage of this. Here's Johnson throwing off of his back foot, and there's a flag down, which might be pass interference.
He never turned around. The defender never turned around.
And I think they went toward Crenshaw there on the far side, and we'll see where the infraction is. Derek Watts actually was the intended receiver. The penalty is likely to be against the Vikings this time. Now, usually it's not a spot foul. I believe it's 10 yards from the line of scrimmage how they do this. But it will be an automatic first down, and the ball is moved from the 24 to the 14-yard line.
Great decision by the quarterback, actually, to throw it someplace where that can be a possibility, honestly. He had a chance to catch, but he also had a chance to get a huge penalty. His team desperately needs it right now because they got to score before the half. That's what their goal is.
Well, we haven't even finished the first quarter yet, but I'm sure we will have plenty more to come from. It's still early in this game. 1st and 10 for the 14. There's a handoff inside the 10 and going down to about the 6-yard line. McCullough.
He's like a bowling ball. Look at him. He's great.
Yes, indeed, and he bowls into the quarter time mark. But again, officials keep their time on the field. And now the officials say we've reached quarter number 2.
And I did mean to say before the quarter ended, excuse me.
Actually, you know what? Why don't we take a break here so we're at quarter time. It is the Vikings 12, the Comanche nothing. Quarter number 2 of Keystone Bowl 18 comes up after this. Okay, we're back here at Kutztown University at Andre Reed Stadium. I'm Tom Wilkins, along with Rich Harrigan, his first time taking care of the color commentating duties here. Howard Gaber, of course, with the controls. It's Keystone Bowl 18 here for GEFA. And right now, Moshannon Valley a 12-0 lead over the Dauphin County Comanche. But the Comanche are marching at the 6-yard line of the Vikings with a 2nd and 2 coming up.
This is a must-drive for the Comanche.
Let's see if they can get the first down. Here's a pitch. There's a hole, and there's a goal right there. An easy one. And I'll tell you what, Colin McCullough really worked his you-know-what off to get them into pay dirt. And that's a 6-yard touchdown run for Colin to put the Comanche on the board.
There was no one stopping him getting in that end zone on that call right there. The best thing that happened to that team on this drive was that first quarter was over. They can go take a deep breath. They knew where they were going. They looked right at his eye and said, we're going to you. Take us home. And he took them right to the end zone. Great play, great call. And the defense just wasn't ready for that.
And it's a prime example of just waiting out the storm, because a storm does not last for 4 quarters, especially when you have 2 evenly matched teams like this. Eventually, you'll get through, the sun will come out, and McCullough was the sun who broke through the rain and gets Dauphin County on the board.
I have to say, though, Tom, there was a key block on the end there. The defensive end got hooked on a great block by the right guard. Excellent block to spring that touchdown.
All right, this is going to be a 1-point conversion as the ball is spotted right at the 3-yard line. Johnson will wait to snap with it back to the right. Almost a direct snap. Looking, lobbing, and a little bit high, incomplete.
Great coverage.
That went towards Devontae Johnson. It ended up being incomplete. So the conversion fails, and it ends up being a 12-6 score. By the way, we'll take a look at the replay. And by the way, that is the first touchdown of the year for McCullough. Why don't we take a look at this AutoZone replay? How did McCullough have this wide open spot on the right?
Well, if you watch the wing back on the right there, it really wasn't a right guard. He made a key block right there on that end, and that pushed him back. And then he had a kick-out block from his right guard. Sprung him wide open.
I'll tell you what, that first block sprung him easily right there for the 6-yard touchdown. By the way, I forgot to mention for penalties, the head official is Keith Dolman, who's the main guy throwing the flags on the field here today. All right, here we go with a kickoff, and here are the Vikings coming back at the 15. Oh, there's a big hole, and crossing into Comanche territory inside the 20-yard line. A good run by Rob Albro, who has been everywhere here in this game so far.
That was a fantastic run back. He had a great blocking on that first level, and then he's just sprung it from there.
So it'll be first down for the Vikings, and they're going to spot the ball at the 19-yard line. By the way, in case for those of you watching, Moshannon Valley, they're located between State College and Punxsutawney. So they're out basically in northwestern Pennsylvania. And I was actually looking at the wrong thing on the reception, but the Dauphin County Comanche, they're out in the Harrisburg area representing central Pennsylvania here in this GEFA championship game. And by the way, the touchdown by McCullough, he has had not a receiving touchdown, but that was actually his 14th rushing score of the year. Just want to make that clarification. Here's a handoff, meanwhile, and nothing doing for Jamal Albro, who is brought down right at the line of scrimmage and forces a 2nd and 10. So it looks like the defense is awakened for the Comanche.
Well, the momentum has shifted also. I mean, that was a huge drive. It was a huge touchdown. And that kickoff return could have put them back on their heels, but it hasn't. So the momentum is still on the Comanche side right now, but they have to make this stop here to make this game to get this game a lot closer.
All right, well, it's still early in the second quarter, and there's plenty more points to be scored in this one. Ball spotted at the 16-yard, right outside the 16-yard line. And they're going to line up a receiver on each side with the extra blocker on the left and the back to the right. Antoine Davis looking at his, play call sheet. Fans getting pretty loud here in Kutztown. Very exciting group of football here. Back to pass, lobbing deep right side. And the far side official thought about throwing a flag, but he said no.
No, that was great coverage.
Rob Albro was the intended receiver. He was shielded, but it ends up being incidental contact or good coverage, but it's incomplete.
Well, you got to give all the credit to the middle linebacker who blitzed up the A gap. He was totally uncovered and he put the pressure on the quarterback. So just letting you know that that middle linebacker's pressure up the middle caused that throw to be thrown where it was. Great job by the defense.
Okay, so it is now 3rd and 10 from the 19-yard line. Let's see how the Vikings line up this time around. They're going to go 2 receivers right and a back to the right. Remember, Antoine Davis, he's in for I believe their main quarterback, Billy Thompson. He's back to pass. Oh, and he loses the football. Mad scramble, and it looks like Dauphin County may have fallen on it. And about the 16-yard line, they say they haven't. Let's see what the officials say. Everyone for Dauphin County, even a coach around the field saying, our ball, our ball. The officials saying, wait a minute.
I wouldn't want.
And now we got flagged as a rugby scrum has occurred.
I would not want to be on the bottom of that pile, Tom. I'll tell you right now. All kind of things are happening down here that you got to have the women and children leave the stadium. I'm telling you right now.
Well, they're not leaving a game like this.
There's all type of things.
Well, the officials are discussing. They have not said anything about who recovered it, which is hard to believe.
Yeah, they haven't pointed yet, but they'll unscramble it.
Well, there is a flag down, and there's also an injured player, and it happens to be Darius Crenshaw, who was at the bottom of the pile. Real quick, we'll tell you that this Keystone Bowl 18 is presented by MMG Concessions and Catering, a family-owned business for 20 years, which provides an abundance of gourmet food to keep customers' hunger satisfied. MMG Concessions serves everything from fresh homemade crab cakes right down to hot dogs and hamburgers. That's all for your backyard bashes, whether it be for your birthday or any other occasion. Call them for more details, 610-533-2251. They are out of the Bethlehem, Pennsylvania area. By the way, after everyone got off the pile, it is Comanche ball.
And they waved that flag off, too, by the way, Tom. It was inadvertent.
So I believe the flag was for somebody pulling someone else off the pile, which you can't do. It's just a warning. No penalty yardage assessed. And that will be 1st and 10 now for the Comanche at the 17-yard line. They clearly have grabbed some momentum in this one as the ball is spotted, like I said, the 17-yard line.
Should be looking for that toss right again. That's been their bread and butter.
Well, the crowd's definitely into it now. Back to pass Johnson, firing the middle, pass caught at the midfield stripe to the 24-yard line. That's Derek Watts straight out of midfield and down to 24 for a gain of 9.
I like the call, actually. I bet you that the defense was looking for that toss as well. Quarterback came back with a 9 drive right down the middle. That was a great call. And great execution.
And a 9-yard pickup, which makes it 2nd and a yard. Now on the Viking side to field the 24-yard line. So right now, the Harrisburg region, Dauphin County, they've got the momentum in this one. A score ties it up. They send all the receivers on the left, and Johnson will take it, play fake, rolls right. He might run it. He will. First down and more to the 20 and out to 15. A flag down behind the play.
58.
Now let's see what this is all about. The officials will decide what the penalty is. It's probably going to be a hold, but they're going to take a little time discussing. And while they discuss, we'll tell you, of course, real quick, the main people behind GEFA, the Great Eastern Football Association, led by President James Simerson in his 4th year as president. The penalty, it looks like, incidentally, is going to be against Dauphin County. He's been a GEFA coach, team owner, secretary, treasurer, and vice president. That's James Simerson. Also, his crew has Vice President Brent Melhorn, Treasurer Kevin Klein, and Secretary Misty Simon. So the penalty is against the Comanche, but I think it's going to be a spot foul the way it looks. So the flag came in right at the end of the play, and the ball now will be spotted at the 21-yard line. So,
boy, that was a drive killer right there. Let's see how they can respond to this now.
It only is a 5-yard penalty, but they repeat the down. 2nd and 6 because of the spot foul at the end. Here's Johnson calling his number. He'll get the yardage back and then some to the 20, and it's probably good night. No, he's out of bounds.
Great call.
At the 5-yard line, making it 1st and goal, and Johnson finally decides to use his legs.
Obviously a designed quarterback draw. They drew it up perfectly and executed it right to the point. He almost scored, but the defender was there to save it. But that is the key right there, that you can execute a play that you designed and it actually works. You get the confidence and you get momentum on your side still.
Going into this game, Johnson has thrown for 18 touchdowns. He has rushed for 13. He almost got his 14th. He almost tied McCullough for the rushing touchdown lead on the team. And now another official timeout.
Yeah, they're staying in that trips left formation with the back to that side. This is their base trips left formation. This is a great formation for them. The
home side of the bleach is getting pretty loud here. And now a timeout going to be called by the Vikings. So we'll take a break here early in the second. 12-6, Vikings over to Comanche. We'll be back in just a moment.
After a hard-fought basketball or soccer season, it's traditional to recognize winning teams and standout players with a trophy. At your headquarters for sports awards, Crown Trophy of Peabody, our staff of experts can help you make the right selection to meet your needs and budget. Get ready for competition season with Crown Trophy of Peabody. Your competitors will flip with our gymnastics and cheerleading trophies and awards. Let our expert staff help you find the right choice today. Learn more at crowntrophy.com/trophies.
All right, we are back here at Kutztown University as the Dauphin County Comanche look to tie this game up here in the second quarter. Scoreboard clock says 9:39 left till halftime. And right now, the Vikings, they got the first 2 scores of the game, both by Rob Albro. Scored on offense and on defense where he returned an interception for a score. Here Johnson on 1st and goal from the 5-yard line, back to his left. He's going to go to handoff up the middle and busting to about the 3. Nate Swearingen this time with the carry. He was able to bust through and get a couple yards and get closer to pay dirt.
I love the way they're mixing up the run with the pass and with the draw play in there as well, which is a run play in disguise. They really have a lot of confidence. Their offensive line is getting off the ball very well. They're moving the pile. I'd be surprised if they don't get the pay dirt on this drive.
Almost related like William Refrigerator Perry style, because he's only had 3 carries going into this game. Swearingen only his 4th of the year, and now we have a substitution violation against the Comanche. That's a tough penalty to take, especially with goal to go.
I'm a little surprised because when you get to this close to the goal line, you get to the line of scrimmage, you get the next play in, you don't try to get too fancy, you don't try to get too cute. I'm going to tell you again, this is what they do. They run the ball. They're a very solid running team. They need to believe in it and trust in it.
So now because of the substitution foul, it is 2nd and goal from the 8-yard line. Let's see how they line up this time. They've been doing a lot of full receivers on one side, but here they're going to put a receiver on each side and go split backs, max protect against Johnson. He's in the shotgun. Let's see what he does. Low snap, but it's McCullough trying to bounce around, and unfortunately for him, the Vikings were ready for him. Zach Hoy was able to bring him down for a 2-yard loss and force a 3rd and goal from the 10.
Right. So in this situation here, everyone was in the box. They had 6 men in the box. They had 6 men in the box, and they really need to look at the outside matchups with the receivers. That was a perfect time. That was a perfect time for a play action pass and a slant route or something like that into the backfield.
Well, they went single back pro set last time. Now they're going to send all their receivers to the right here on a 3rd and goal from the 10. Johnson, the shotgun, back to the right, takes it, looks, has a block, will take a shot, pass caught, but it's going to be well short as Derek Watts grabs it at about the 5-yard line. His momentum was carrying him out of bounds anyway. Remember, in this league, 1 foot and you're okay with a completion.
Well, great pickup by number 8, McCullough, in the backfield of the blitz. That was a great pickup of the blitz. He gave his quarterback time. Quarterback stepped into his throw beautifully, and they completed the pass.
They gave him an extra yard, so right outside the 4-yard line. So here we go again, 4th and goal from the 4. Johnson, a quick snap. He play fakes, gonna go for the end zone, and he'll get it.
Touchdown.
Johnson comes home and ties the game at 12 apiece. He gets his 14th rushing touchdown of the year. He already ties McCullough for the team lead. They each have one, and now conversion could give them the lead.
Tommy, that's how you mix it up. That was a great mix-up. They didn't go back to that trips formation, which they were running quite a bit on this drive, and now you had that split receiver with the single back, and the defense now has to guess what's going on. They don't have the advantage at that point. And that was a great call by the quarterback to get right to the pylon.
And that was a good 4th down call. Johnson, I mean, he's had a bunch of rushing scores. He's like, you know what, I'm going to take this myself.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, so we'll see what happens with the conversion. Let's see how they line up. This is 4 to lead for Dauphin County after what was a rough first quarter. 3 wide, they got double slot. Back he goes. Johnson fires and it's knocked away, incomplete. So the conversion fails, and we stay tied at 12. Now, Rich, why don't we take a look at the AutoZone replay in regards to Johnson's touchdown run, his own sweep left, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, let's see it here. He has the wing on the left there. He has the split receivers in the back to his side. So right away, he fakes the RPO, and it's a quarterback sweep all the way to the left. Great design call because they held the linebacker when they faked it to McCullough, and that gives the quarterback a little bit more time to get to the edge.
You know, I thought it was also McCullough needed to just like a slip after the carry he knew he wasn't going to have, and maybe kind of design it a little bit better.
There you go. Could be.
A little bit of a directional kick, and it stays in bounds at about the 7. That's a tightrope. And returning it to about the 20, maybe the 22-yard line. By the way, get in the zone, AutoZone. The return that time by Malik Breon. By the way, AutoZone is your go-to store for quality auto parts, accessories, and do-it-yourself repair advice to keep your car, truck, or SUV running smoothly. All of the auto parts stores offer free store battery testing, battery charging, our Loaner tool program, and Fix Finder, a simple check engine light tool that utilizes an extensive database from ASE-certified mechanics to find the most likely fix. Visit AutoZone.com for a location near you. Get into zone, AutoZone.
Yeah, the Vikings have been quiet for a while. We'll see how they respond to all this.
All right, so 1st and 10, a 12-12 game. Here's Antoine Davis trying to look over what the defense is going to try and run here. He'll take a low snap, and he dropped it. And he has to fall on it back at his own 17-yard line. So that's a big 5-yard loss for mishandling the snap.
Yeah, it looked like he pulled back before he actually got control of the ball. He was stepping back. He was moving back in the pocket to get set up for a throw, and he just didn't wait for the ball to get there first.
So after a loss of 5, now all of a sudden the Vikings, after that tremendous start, obviously the Comanche have all the momentum at this point. and forcing a 2nd and 15. You wonder if the Vikings are going to try another one of those passes like they did early on in the game.
I think they have to go back to it eventually.
Play to your strengths at this point.
Absolutely.
Now it's a chess match. Under 7 minutes till halftime. 2nd and 15 from the 17-yard line. Antoine Davis in the shotgun. Takes a low snap. It's going to be a handoff. Bouncing off one tackle. The second one. Oh, and the ball came out again. Dauphin County thinks they have it. Let's see what the officials say. Indeed, it is Dauphin County ball, and it's Jordan Bell who takes it away.
What a chain of events. What a change of situation here. This is fantastic. Unbelievable.
And I tell you, they hit real hard, and although the handoff kind of looked like it was going to be second effort, they were playing strip the ball out, and they did exactly that. They forced a fumbled snap on the first play. That's more of a mental thing. And then they got the ball out on the second play, and here come the Comanche again at the 17-yard line.
Unfortunate circumstance for the Vikings. They had a great return on that kickoff return, great field position, and they really, really had an opportunity to turn this thing around, back with the momentum on their side again. But great job on the defense, stuffing out the run and forcing the fumble and getting the turnover.
So it'll be 1st and 10, the ball at the 17-yard line. Let's see how the Comanche line up. Near side official making sure that everyone's up properly on their sideline. In the shotgun, London Johnson, who had the touchdown run to tie the game. Let's see what he does here. It's going to be a handoff. McCullough, they read it, and he looked like he was trying to sneak out of there, could not. Ends up going back to the 20 and loses 3. Good penetration, especially along the left side of the line for the Vikings. And that was led by Jimmy Werner.
That was all-out jailbreak there. They sent everybody. And they knew McCullough was getting the ball. They were waiting for it, and they attacked it. So great call on the defensive side, and puts the Comanche in a tough situation right now. 2nd and long.
2nd and 13 from the 20-yard line. Standing right on the midfield stripe is Johnson with a back to his left, a receiver on each side. They play fake. Johnson calls his number and ends up losing a yard. Back at the 21. So shall we say that's more the on-patrol live pursuit by this Viking defense that's forcing 2 losses on back-to-back plays.
Yeah, I don't agree with going sideline to sideline on plays on a 2nd and long. You got to get upfield somewhere. You got to get some positive yardage any way you can.
And now for the Comanche, they're faced with a 3rd and 14. And now they're going to send everybody to the right.
Trips right.
Let's see what they do. Johnson, the shotgun. Takes a low snap, has time. Now he's rolling left. Backs off his foot. He has a man. There's a flag down, and it's caught in the end zone. That was Devontae Johnson, but let's see what the flag is at midfield.
Wow.
Hold on a second. The flag came, I believe, during the throw. And it might be on the Comanche. That's a preliminary indication, and it is a hold. So the touchdown is cut out. Oh, my goodness. What a tough break.
Yeah, once again, these are the things coaches are not prepared for. These are not in your script. Penalties are drive killers. I don't care how you look at it.
Well, remember, all the characters on the field, it's the officials that help write the script. And that one ends up being a costly one for the Comanche. The touchdown goes off the board, and it stays tied. Boy, that was a great throw, by the way, to Johnson. Too bad the holding penalty.
Wide receiver was wide open.
Yes, indeed. Ends up being a 5-yard penalty. And now you're stuck with a 3rd and very long, 3rd and 20. They have to get to the 6-yard line, and they're at their own 24.
I think that draw play might be open again.
We'll see.
Back. No.
They fake the pitch out. Johnson back, being chased. The sackmaster has a cross throw, tapped it incomplete. Sean Steve almost got his hands on it. He nearly intercepted one earlier, and that one, I mean, that was it. They tipped it away from his other player. Steve would have had an interception, and I kind of wonder about the throw by Johnson because he threw across his body and didn't look like anyone was open.
Yeah. It just seems they're playing a little bit of desperation ball in these key situations. You have to have third and long plays that get you out of trouble, even if it doesn't get a first down, if it just gets you better field position.
Well, J.J. Custer's going to come on and play the field position game. Let's see what happens here. He'll take the snap and a very high pop, but they're going to try and prevent it from going in the end zone, but it ends up bouncing to about the 3.
Great kick.
So Custer, boy, definitely not his last stand punting there. He was able to punt it beautifully and field position for the Vikings deep in their own territory at about the 3-4 yard line.
I like the way you think, Tom. I like the way you think.
Well, sometimes Howard suggests me some things. Anyway, by the way, with 4:51 till halftime, we're tied at 12. By the way, just quickly running down the staff for the Moshannon Valley Vikings, led by Thor Marlowe, the head coach, and we'll give the rest of them a little bit afterwards. 1st and 10 from the 4. Davis again to shotgun. Takes it. It'll be an inside run and waiting for him for a 1-yard loss.
Yeah,
And I think it's Swearingen that time.
Yeah, the right guard on that side got totally dominated by the defensive tackle, and it led to the linebacker having a clean path to the running back.
Well, that'll definitely make Brad Esposito Jr., the defensive coordinator, happy, as well as Brandon Maynard, the defensive line coach, as well as defensive assistants Colin Carefoot and Forrest Adams. By the way, offensive coordinator is Dan Beatty, and offensive line coach is David Roch. Special teams assistants are Andy Krager and Josh Sweeney. Actually, Krager leads the special teams.
I just think that the Vikings need to take advantage that their offensive line does a great job forming a pocket for their quarterback to get him the ball down, give him a chance to throw the ball downfield.
Well, here on 2nd down, here is a pass that is caught at about the 10-yard line. So he got most of the yardage back. By the way, those coaches are for the Moshannon Valley Vikings. So pardon kind of getting the name slightly mixed up there. But it ends up being 3rd and 4 now from the 10-yard line.
But that pass play is what I'm expecting from this Viking team, Tom. They're hitch routes, underneath routes, slant routes, 3-step and drops and throw. The offensive line does a great job keeping pressure off their quarterback. Shouldn't be a problem.
I meant to say the defensive coordinator for Dauphin County is Mark Anthony. He was the one that made it happy on that first play. But it's 3rd and 4 from the 10-yard line. Let's see what Davis does in the shotgun here.
They're coming to blitz.
Well, they better be careful here. Back to pass, looking, going to take a shot downfield, a little bit high and incomplete. They went for Rob Albro, but it was a little bit high. Now you got an interesting decision. 4th and 4. Now, if you're head coach Thor Marlowe, what do you do?
He's going for it. I tell you right now, he's an aggressive coordinator. But I would definitely punt on this. The game is too close. We got a whole second half left. Not too long. He just switched up. Very good.
All right, and it looks like they are going to they changed the personnel up, and now becomes a field position game. You got 3:08 till halftime, and it looks like the punter is John Galinas. And he also kicks off for the Vikings. As, by the way, lights are starting to come on here at Andre Reed Stadium. Galinas will line up standing on his own goal line, and he punts it. Oh, and what a hard hit. You talk about a collision. I don't think it's a score. Unfortunately, Tavon Miller tried to catch, and he touched it and took a vicious hit. It was recovered by the Vikings before they got to the goal line. I believe they're going to spot a goal to go there. I don't think you can return a muff in this league. I could be wrong. We're going to take a look. Who provided that 5.7 on the Richter scale for this AutoZone replay?
I got to tell you, it was a great coverage by the kicking team. Very daring and risky play by the punt returner. Yeah, he never had a chance. He did touch the ball first, though.
That is correct.
Fortunately, though, he did get up, and he seems to be okay. He seems to be there on the sideline.
He'll be seeing stars for the next couple days on that replay. Get in the zone, auto zone. What a hit.
He got up on his own power. I'm very glad to see that.
Well, thankfully it wasn't more serious. But the ball be spotted at the 1 yard line, first and goal. You can't recover a muff and make it a touchdown. But for the Vikings, boy, they just went from one end of the field to the other lightning quick.
This is why you punt the ball. You never know.
Well, that's a very good point. So we'll see what Davis decides to do. Let's see how this comes out. With a receiver on each side, they go jumbo on first and goal at the 1. Low snap, handoff, runs into his own guy, and look who's waiting. Wow. Marcus Holston throws him down for a nearly 4 yard loss. And he literally ran into his own guy and went completely backwards.
A little surprised by the call. They had 6 men in the box, and they were outflanked the entire time. They only had 3 linemen and 1 possible blocker from the wing. So that's 6 against 4. Definitely play action was in play. The quarterback should have kept the ball. Quarterback sneak or bootleg. So,
well, he lost 3 on the play. It is second and goal now from right outside the 4 yard line. And now looks like they're going empty gun this time.
Now, definitely wing left, looks like.
Maybe a wing left here. Got 2 receivers on the right, 1 in the slot. Davis awaits the snap. Will take, goes back there, coming, firing, and it nearly is intercepted.
He had him.
Quentin Thomas was right there, was right in his lap, and it bounced out. 2:04 left till halftime, so probably one more play before the 2-minute warning.
Quarterback hesitated just a slight. He should have threw the ball just a second earlier. The receiver did open because the D-back backed off of him, and he gave him the underneath what was wide open. But the quarterback just delayed his throw a little bit, and he threw off his back foot.
And now and we've been seeing that a lot from both quarterbacks today, throwing off the back foot with momentum going against them.
Yeah, you got to give it to the pressure for the defense then.
Again, empty gun this time. All the receivers to the right. 3rd and goal from the 4. Davis back, throws it. It's caught, swinging around, but only getting to about the 3 yard line. Only a 1 yard pickup.
I get the idea in the call, but that's got to be a quick call. That's got to be fast. It can't be. That was like a slow motion underneath screen route. Yeah.
So it looked like a little bit of a slant, and we've reached the 2-minute timeout with 2 minutes left and a half. So we are. So why don't we go ahead and take a quick break? We are tied at 12. The final 2 minutes of the half coming up. All right, we're back from the 2-minute warning here in the first half. Again, empty gun as Davis there for a 4th and goal from the 3. Trying to take advantage of a big special teams turnover. He's back to pass, looking, rolls right, has the fire, and he's got a touchdown. A beautiful catch by Malik Breon, who enters himself into the red zone. No flags, and the Vikings retake the lead.
No, there actually was a flag on the defense, but I think it's going to be picked up anyway, so you're right.
So Breon catches his 3rd touchdown catch of the year. He had 2 going in. So that ends up being a big score for the Vikings as they retake the lead with 1:55 left till halftime. And they take advantage of the big special teams turnover and tremor, which occurred just a short time ago.
We get the chance to get to the replay. I'll show you exactly how the receiver did a great job on that.
All right, so What they'll do is they'll line up.
That was for you, Howard.
They will they will turn a 2-point conversion as the ball is spotted at the 5-yard line. Remember, the 3 is a 1-point conversion. The 5 is a 2-point conversion. So let's see how they line up with a back to the left of Davis. They have a receiver on each side. Right side's a slot. Actually, no, that is Billy Thompson. He's going to fire it, and there's your 2-point conversion.
Took his time. You got to give the offensive line credit on that. They gave him all the time in the world.
Wes Ritchie was the one who caught the 2-pointer to make it 20-12. Now let's go to the touchdown.
I think Howard Gabriel could have threw that ball.
Your AutoZone touchdown replay. What exactly happened, which got Breon open?
Well, if you watch the slot receiver here, the second from the second from the top from the bottom, he gives a nice little zip route. He takes the defender inside and he zips outside and he creates space for himself, almost like an old basketball play when you create space for a shot. Great job, great throw by the quarterback, and again, offensive line, great blocking.
5th touchdown pass for Davis here in the season. Getting the zone, AutoZone. Boy, that was a nice throw. So, yeah, it was from the 5-yard line for the 2-point conversion. So that's why it's 20-12. All right, so here we go with the kickoff for the Vikings, sending it over and be taken right at the goal line. Let's see how much momentum they have.
Blocking.
Oh my goodness, crossing the midfield stripe and inside the 20. So a short field now for the Comanche as they're going to spot the ball at the 18-yard line. And the return nicely done by Nigel Williams.
Had his peripheral vision allowed him to see better to the left, he had a great cut inside and back outside. He would have been gone.
So now let's see what the Comanche answer. They had an unfortunate turnover on special teams, but now they get a chance to probably try and maybe tie this game. And we could be seeing a lot of points in the final minute 49 of this half. Considering it was 12-12 with a 2-minute warning, we may have more points in the final 2 minutes than we did the first 22 of this half.
Hey, it's high scoring is 8-man football. That's what it's known for.
And that's what it's supposed to be. But now they get 2 receivers on the right side, back to the left of London Johnson. Waiting for the snap, play fake, and he's going to run it himself. Has the 15, runs out of bounds to the 13. They might give him the 12. They're going to give him the 13-yard line.
So being that the defense is keying on McCullough, they have to go with that play there. But they did get away with a holding call also. The referee did not see it.
All right, so it is 2nd and 5 from the we're going to say the 13-yard line. So after that 5-yard pickup, we'll see what the Comanche have up their sleeve. They're going to switch the 2 receivers to the far side. They're going to switch the back to the right. London Johnson awaits a shotgun snap. Now they send Fells in motion. He's going to get the ball, crosses the 10, and gets into goal-to-go territory at about the 8-yard line.
See,
or maybe they might actually give him the 6.
See, now they're mixing up their running plays. Now they're showing different running plays. They have not shown this running play the whole entire half. Now they have a guy go in motion, and this was fantastic. That was a great call. He had blocking out in front of him. If they could free up that wing to a post route or a corner route eventually, he'll be wide open as well because they're going to anticipate the run.
All right, and they did say the 8-yard line, so it is goal-to-go territory. 1st and goal from the 8. Johnson has all his receivers on the left. It's a running play. McCullough to the 5, down to the 3. So 3 straight plays of 5 yards for rushing, and all of a sudden, here come the Comanche again.
Another great call, another look. This time they faked the bubble route from the inside for the number 3 receiver. He did a bubble route, and that held that linebacker, and that allowed McCullough to get an extra yards there.
2nd and goal from the 3-yard line. The Comanche looking to close the gap and possibly tie the game.
Got to go to McCullough on this.
Well, Johnson may do a naked bootleg.
Yeah,
he is.
Great call.
He tries to block. No, he throws it. Look who's wide open. Derek Watts, straight out of the end zone.
Sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't.
Well, I'm not sure what you're referring to, but the
play was busted, and sometimes you felt they had it snuffed out, and he turned around, he threw a touchdown pass. Sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't.
Well, I'll tell you what, Derek Watts was happy. He's like, I'm glad I secured that one. Makes it a 2-point game, and they're going to go for 2 to try and tie it up.
Great improvisation. If that was not a design call, that was great improvisation on that.
Well, it ends up being Watts' fifth touchdown reception of the year. And now they're going to go for 2 to try and tie it. Johnson will take it, goes back, has some time. Way back, firing, and he's got the two. No, he doesn't. It looked like he came down with it, but he didn't secure it. Brendan Krager was the receiver. But so it ends up being a 2-point lead for the Vikings after all that. But let's show you the Comanche touchdown and how did Watts end up so wide open.
So they faked to the to McCullough, and then they followed the same way, and he came back with the backside tight end or slot back was wide open in the end zone.
And Watts was just absolutely I mean, he was open for like 3 or 4 seconds, like, get it to me, and they finally listened, and there you go. So another AutoZone replay, again to zone AutoZone, and now a directional kick. Oh, taken directly by Khalil Bell, who goes all the way down to the 13-yard line.
Did they try an onside kick?
I think it was more of a directional kick.
Wow.
But Khalil Bell was so alert, he was able to grab the ball, and he was able to run it back and get some great yardage.
Big play there. Huge.
Now, if I'm guessing right, both teams have 2 timeouts left in the half, and there's 53 seconds remaining.
That was a huge play right there. The Vikings can take advantage of that with less than a minute left, and they're already, 20 yards from 15 yards from the end zone? Come on. That's fantastic.
Well, let's think about this. The Vikings get the ball to start the second half.
Wow.
So let's see if they take – this could be a double possession for them if they play the cards right. So 3 receivers set, 2 on the right, back to the left of Davis.
We shouldn't see any running plays on this drive.
Well, let's see what he does. He takes the snap, back the
Great
pass.
blocking.
The pocket collapses, and so does he. Down at the 23-yard line, ends up being a 10-yard loss, and now a timeout's going to be called.
That play there.
We're going to keep it here. They didn't signal exactly who called it. I think Dauphin County called it.
I definitely blame the quarterback on that because the blocking was there. He had the pocket. If you have a clock in your head, once you know that that it's collapsing on you, you got to get rid of the ball, throw it out of bounds, throw it somewhere where the receiver would have a chance to get it. You can't double back now. And this is what happened now. They lost yardage. You got to protect the field position, got to protect the ball.
And it ends up being a 9-yard loss. Real quick, we'll tell you that this game, Keystone Bowl 18, presented by Crown Trophy, which has over 40 years experience providing award and recognition items to thousands of leagues, organizations, corporations, and educational institutions, to name a few. Their friendly and experienced customer service staff is available to provide assistance and guide you through the award selection process. Crown Trophy's #1 goal is to make your awards program and presentation a great success. So at this point in time, we're looking at 2nd and 19 from the 22-yard line after that 9-yard loss. That was a huge sack on the part of the Dauphin County defense. Let's see what they do here on 2nd and 19. 44 seconds left till halftime. Davis lying up in the shotgun, back to the left, all the receivers to the right. He takes it, goes back, they're coming, firing, and a pass in and out of the hands of Rob Albro, incomplete. And not only that, it stops the clock with 40 seconds left.
Great call, Tom, but bad execution. I was looking for a hitch route or maybe like a little comeback route, so they did like a outside hitch route rather than an inside hitch route. It was right there. He definitely should have had it. He didn't catch the ball. So this is now 3rd and long.
So now 3rd and 19 from the 22-yard line. Now, what do you anticipate the Vikings calling from an offensive standpoint? Do you think they try and get most of the yards?
Right. Well, they're definitely in 4-down territory, so they got to get at least half of it. I think they're going to go underneath with something underneath, and then knowing that they have to go for it on 4th.
All right, 3rd and 19 from the 22. 3 receivers, 2 to the left this time. Davis takes a shotgun snap, back the pass, gonna take a shot for the end zone, and it's incomplete, but a flag goes down, and that might, and I'm not sure if they're gonna get an automatic first down on this. John Bell was in coverage. He may have been called for interference.
Well, Tom, I didn't tell you how they were going to try to get the half the yards, but this is one way they can definitely do it. Right, so they got 10 yards, so they get some of the yardage back, but they did it the unconventional way, obviously. But great call by the throw by the quarterback to at least get it to a place where PI could be one of your choices.
And I think they went for Albro again, but in this case they call pass interference, and that I believe is an automatic first down. Remember, it's 10 yards from the spot. So they went from the 22 to the 12. They started drive on the 13 and 1 net yard, and they moved the sticks, and they still didn't get a first down without scoring.
Well, they actually get an automatic first down on the pass interference.
Well, yeah,
No. I was not saying. I was actually talking to myself on that one time. I didn't realize it myself. That's why I was talking to myself on that one. Sorry
listen. I do that all the time. I just answer myself half the time, wondering why was I doing that. Anyway, 1st and 10 from the 12-yard line. Again, 3 receivers set, 2 on the left. Davis in the shotgun with a back to the right.
He's got some options here.
Let's see what he does.
Doesn't get all in one
35 seconds till halftime. Takes the snap, goes back.
Take your time.
Now he's being rushed. And, the pocket closed, and down he went again. At about the 19-yard line, the clock continues to run, 25 seconds and counting.
They don't have. Wow, they're out of timeouts.
Oh, they're out of timeouts. 15 seconds left. So coming to 15 seconds. They got to hurry and line up, and they're not exactly sure. They want to try and down the football if possible. Final play. Can you down the ball?
Yeah.
Yeah, from shotgun in this league, you can down the ball by way of the shotgun. So now the Comanche will call a timeout with 4 seconds left in the half. So barring a defensive penalty, you're looking at the final play of the half.
So what probably happens in these cases, these teams are not used to being in these close games. These teams have done very well all season. They've probably been blowing teams out for the most part. And they're not used to being in these crucial situations where time management and field position and play calling all entwined has to be on the same page.
Real quick, we're presented by High Grade Graphics, which specializes in sports edits and graphic design. They offer individual edits as well as team packages with anything from player announcements, player personnel designs, season schedules, marketing materials, and a whole lot more. Feel free to message High Grade Graphics for a free quote. And you can see them at Instagram and at Facebook. Type in High Grade Graphics, GRAPHIX. It's all one word through Facebook or Instagram. All right, so what defense do you think the Comanche will play?
Well, you got to go prevent, without a doubt. You don't want to you want to keep everything in front of you, nothing behind you. You got to protect the end zone no matter what. You cannot allow them to get the ball into the end zone on any reception at all.
A lot of yelling going on here. 4 seconds till halftime. Again. Likely the final play of the half.
Yeah, they're all backing off.
Davis with his shotgun. Back. Now he's being rushed, and he goes down for a sack on a 2-man rush. 3 sacks on the drive to end the half of the Comanche defense, and an opportunity thwarted by the Vikings to end the first half. Your thoughts on a very entertaining first half, Rich?
Well, my thoughts is that both teams came out not anticipating this to be a barn burner so soon. Definitely the Comanche were thrown off guard by that first play of the game for a touchdown. They were not expecting it. And I think that the Vikings felt that they had control because they had that key interception run back for a touchdown. They were up by 2 scores. I think that they weren't anticipating the Comanche to keep their heads up and to keep their composure, which they did. And they took advantage of the opportunities. You had several turnovers, key plays on special teams that gave the other team momentum. These are the things that we do not script, and I know I said it before, that are not scripted. This is what makes football so interesting because you go into a game prepared for weeks and what you're going to do. After the first series or two, you throw that out the book, and you got to now adjust on the fly. And these teams have done that. They've actually done pretty well on that. But some opportunities have fallen each side, and this is going to be a great second half.
Indeed, and there will be a heck of a lot more where this came from. Your halftime score, Keystone Bowl 18, the Moshannon Valley Vikings 20 to Dauphin County Comanche 18. Why don't we take a few minutes, we'll grab a little grub and refresh ourselves and get ready for the second half. We'll be back in a few moments.
After a hard-fought basketball or soccer season, it's traditional to recognize winning teams and standout players with a trophy. At your headquarters for sports awards, Crown Trophy of Peabody. Our staff of experts can help you make the right selection to meet your needs and budget. Get ready for competition season with Crown Trophy of Peabody. Your competitors will flip with our gymnastics and cheerleading trophies and awards. Let our expert staff help find the right choice today. Learn more at crowntrophy.com/trophies.
No. Seriously?
Come on.
No.
You for real?
Dale.
Really?
Wow.
So maybe just a cable?
We can help you.
Welcome to America's #1 battery destination, AutoZone, your battery solution.
Okay, we are back here at Andre Reed Stadium here on the campus of Kutztown University here in Kutztown, PA. I'm Tom Wilkins, and of course, joining me, if I can find this thing, Rich Harrigan is with me, and Howard Gaber taking care of the controls. We're about ready to start the second half as Moshannon Valley with a 20-18 lead over the Dauphin County Comanche. While we show you some of the first half touchdowns, let's begin with the very first one, with Rob Albro catching a tremendous pass on their opening play of the game after their defense stopped Dauphin County the opening drive.
Right out of the gate, Tom, they came right up top. They wanted to get on the scoreboard first. They wanted to set the tone for this game, and they did an excellent job getting that one-on-one coverage down low here, and great throw by the quarterback.
And a tremendous throw there, which caused the opening score of the game. Albro later on ended up causing an interception. He returned it back for a touchdown, which made it 12-0. I don't know if we have that all queued up. Let's see if we can get that. This is the play. Albro had that pick six in.
Yeah, great anticipation by the DB. He was looking to get to the house as soon as he caught it, and that has to be the determining factor once you get that pick. He read the play great. Made a nice move. He looked like a running back actually taking the ball, and his teammates led him to the end zone. That was fantastic.
All right, so it made it 12-0. At that point, then a score on the part of Akam McCullough made it 12-6, and then here's a touchdown by London Johnson calling his own number and tying the game at 12 with that late touchdown in the first half. However, the Vikings were able to respond with a score of their own as Malik Breon caught this touchdown pass. And remember, this was a 4th and goal from the 3-yard line with an empty gun, and luckily Breon was able to cut in and score that way. They also made the 2-point conversion. That made it 20-12 at that point. But the Comanche were not done. They actually had a response.
Yeah, on that last touchdown, though, the receiver did a great job in creating space for himself.
All right, and this is the score with a wide open Derek Watts. The conversion was no good, and that's what we have, 20-18 going into the third quarter. And to think about this, for a spring league like GEFA, you would expect like June weather to be like a mid-upper 70s, but we're at 62 degrees right now. Game time temperature was 67, but it almost feels like it's a September night here in the Lehigh Valley. Yeah,
it's a little chilly out here, but I can tell you right now, on the field, this is great weather for the football players. It started out to be very bright and sunny, and as the game has moved forward, it's a little cooler, but down there on the field, this is great. This is great for them. This is like fall weather, like you just mentioned, and a lot of these football players are going to be ready for the second half.
Okay, the Vikings will receive the ball to begin the second half. The referee blows his whistle, and we are underway here in half number 2. It went out of bounds. Oops. So I think they're going to take it at the spot. Now, normally, you would think it'd be like from 20 yards in the spot. Oh, I'm sorry, at the 20-yard line, or where it's whichever is greater. So.
Yeah, the rules are a little different here, but still, it was something that the head coach, I'm sure, is not happy with, to kick the ball out of bounds and to have a penalty to start the half. As a head coach for several years on several different levels, trust me, these are the things that irk us the most.
And these are two teams that are going for their very first Keystone Bowl title. They've been to the game before. This is actually the first time for the Vikings, second time for the Comanche. One of these teams will be a champion for the first time after this is over. Here's a pass that goes high and in a lot of traffic, incomplete. Trying to go a little bit more wide open there.
Yeah, on that play there, they were trying to distract the secondary by having a lot of action on the right side with the slot back going in motion, approaching the line, and the quarterback tried to look the safety off to the right, but the safety never bit, and he thought he had the backside one-on-one open, but it wasn't. And great job on the defense. They were prepared this time. They were not going for the okie-doke like they did in the first quarter, the first play of the first quarter.
Well, after the Comanche were kind of hit on their heels in the very beginning of the game, they clearly have stabilized themselves, especially on defense, with the way they've been playing for the most part. And you can tell the far side of field call on defense here on 2nd and 10 from the 20-yard line. Davis takes a low snap, and now a handoff, trying to escape through a tackle on getting to maybe about the 24 is Malik Breon, and he picks up 4 on the play.
You know, this is something that I've just noticed after watching this for the first half is once a back breaks that front line, the difference in 11-man football is that you usually can get a key blocker or an extra blocker. They don't have extra blockers. They have to break that tackle or they have to take it on head to head. And that was a great run, but also a great tackle by the defense to prevent it from getting worse.
So it'll now be 3rd and 6, ball at the 24-yard line. Going to be a very important opening possession for both teams here. Let's see what happens as Davis is in the shotgun, receiver on each side. Back to his left. Another low snap. They do another handoff, and it only works for about a yard.
Yeah, it looks like they're having problems with the snap, though. The snap is really low. He's getting the ball there, but it's getting there a little bit late. And the running back's not having a chance to gather the ball and make his cut based on what he reads from the blocks in front of him. So that does hurt his chances of gaining yards. But now they're in a 4th down situation. It'd be interesting to see what the call would be.
I'll be interested to see too how the center's going to get the snap to Davis, because when you have a low snap, then the chances of trying to successfully execute your play, I think they go down a bit. And especially when you mishandle it, then becomes a broken play.
Right.
Here they go empty gun. They go 3 receivers, 2 to the right. Let's see what Davis does on 4th and 5, and somebody jumped, and the play is blown dead on a hard count.
It's got to be offsides, it looks like.
Well, it depends on who moved first. And it is offside against Dauphin County, and that's a huge penalty because that's going to make it a 1st down with the way the sticks have it.
Wow, big disadvantage for the Comanche because Davis is not he's not a running quarterback. So even on that 4th and long or that 4th down play, they were definitely passing the ball. I don't think they were going to give him the option to run it either. So it was a better chance for them to defend against the pass. But now you can't defend against a penalty. Now it's automatic 1st down. That's just the way it goes sometimes, and you have to be prepared to understand that you watch the ball. You don't move till the ball moves.
So a huge 1st down for the Vikings. Ball now at the 20-yard line of the Comanche. Davis in the shotgun. They got a receiver on each side back to the left. Davis will wait the snap. This time a much better one. Here's a handoff, and once again Breon will get himself to about the 18-yard line for a gain of 2.
Well, it looks like the Vikings have come out determined to run the ball off tackle and to get to the edge. I think they're going to be setting up some play action that, if not on this drive, on the drive following.
All right, so it's 2nd and 8. The ball spot at the 18-yard line. Right now, Vikings by 2, 20-18, looking to try and expand their lead on the opening drive of the second half, almost 3 minutes in. Empty gun this time. 2 receivers left, 1 right for Davis. Waits for the snap, takes it, will fire, and knocked away incomplete. That was close to being intercepted. I'll tell you what, if Quinn Thomas came up with that, he would have been running toward Bethlehem.
Well, that's interesting, Tom, that you say that because they had nobody in the backfield. They went totally empty on that one. There was no play action. I didn't understand what they thought they were going to be able to achieve on that play because the defense sees that you're empty. You don't have a running quarterback, so they can play man-to-man and tight coverage, which showed on that play. Great job by the defense.
Well, they're going to need to hold for 2 more downs as the ball is at the 18-yard line of the Comanche. Vikings with a 3rd and 8. Let's see how they line up. They're going to go receiver on each side, extra blocker on the left. And let's see what Davis does as this crowd get a little nervous here. We're only early in the 3rd quarter. And now whistle blows, and it's too much time. Delay a game against the Vikings.
Tom, that was exactly what was on my mind. I was like, why are they taking so long to snap the ball? It seems to be that's been the situation since the half started, that they're coming out, taking their sweet time, getting the ball snapped. I don't know if that's part of the strategy or if they need the quarterback to read a particular defense, but they have to figure a way to get the ball snapped a little sooner.
Well, that backs them up to the 23-yard line of Dauphin County, and now it forces a 3rd and 13. So I would have to think the play call changes a little bit, wouldn't you think?
Would have to be, because they were being very methodical on that drive for a while. I think that goes out the window now. They need to do what they need to do based on what the defense shows them.
Well, they're going empty gun again. 3rd and 13. Davis in the shotgun will take it. He rolls right. Now he reverses gears. Going to take a shot for the end zone. And Breon just couldn't come up with it. That would have been at the very back of the end zone. That would have been a close call, but it's incomplete. They had the right idea.
Definitely the right idea. The receiver ran a great route. He got a little space from the defender. The quarterback bought some time by a great rollout to the backside. He maybe even could have run the ball, but that's not what he does. And he had a shot in the end zone. It just didn't happen.
Do you play field position on this 4th and long?
I think they're going for it, definitely.
Well, considering you're just a couple yards past the midfield stripe, considering what the Comanche did earlier in a field position situation, it looks like the Vikings are choosing to go for it on 4th and 13. Empty gun again. Showing blitz to the Comanche. Now they back away. Back goes Davis. Has the juke. Roll right. Going to take a shot. He ends up throwing it incomplete. No flags down. So the Comanche defense rises up and forces the Vikings to turn it over on downs. Comanche ball their own 23.
You know, this play was, set up because of the previous plays. There was no routes thrown underneath, nothing short, 5 to 7 yards, maybe even 10-yard routes to get in better position for a touchdown or for a first down. So now you put your offense in a predicament where it's 4th and long again.
All right, so 1st and 10 from the 23-yard line. Quarterback London Johnson looking to try and give the Comanche their first lead of the game with 8:51 left in the 3rd. They're going to hand it off, and McCullough is absolutely smothered by several Vikings for a loss on the play, a loss of 3 to the 20-yard line. By the way, the Comanche, they are led by head coach and offensive coordinator Monk Williams, who's also one of the owners, along with Skylar Hoffman. Defensive coordinator is Mark Anthony, offensive assistant Jeff Winters, and special teams coach is Lou Godfrey. They've been around since 2016. They've won 2 Valley Division titles and 2 conference championships, but they have yet to taste the Keystone Bowl. Of course, this being their 2nd appearance in the mighty game.
Just real quick, Tom, on that last play, the offensive lineman double-teamed the wrong guy, and that freed up everybody else.
2nd and 13 from the 20. Johnson will take the snap. He's under a rush. He's going to roll left. Looking, taking a shot. There's a man open at the 15 to the 10. Spin move to about the 5. That is Brendan Kreger, who will get a big 1st and goal coming up. A gain of 20 on the play. And that's what happens when you have the ability of London Johnson. You're able to extend the play, and your receivers become open, and look what happens.
Tom, London Johnson is showing now his capabilities of being a mature quarterback. He got out the pocket, planted his feet, set his feet. He threw with a purpose. This is what you want from your quarterback. You want him to be sure about his throws and be confident about his decision-making. That was a great decision.
So 1st and goal from the 5-yard line. London Johnson with a back to his left and receivers on each side. He'll take it, and it's a pitch out. McCullough, he swallowed up. Oh, it's not McCullough, I beg your pardon. Derek Watts, rather. Or actually it was McCullough because he just threw the ball back. My apologies. Ends up losing a yard to the 6.
Yeah, they went back to what they normally have done in the first half, but this time the Vikings defense was ready for it. So I think that the Comanche should come up with a counter play off of that, a play that resembles that formation, but not the same play.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Johnson tries a naked bootleg the other way, the one that got him success in the first half. 2nd and goal from right inside the 6. A play fake. He does call his number. He spins, and he'll get to about the 2.
And that's sort of what I was talking about, Tom. When you fake the pitch, you show something different. You show the same formation, but you do something different with it this time. This time he faked the pitch, and the quarterback kept the ball, and he made some really good yards on that play. So kudos to the offense. offensive coordinator on that play.
Well, you think it was a design play pretty much?
Definitely, because he definitely faked the pitch, and he wasn't looking to, and there was nobody out there blocking. So,
all right, midway third quarter, under 6 minutes left, and now we have a timeout for the Comanche, and I guess we're going to take a little break here. Just midway third quarter, 20-18, Vikings over the Comanche. Comanche threatening. We'll be back in a moment.
After a hard-fought basketball or soccer season, it's traditional to recognize winning teams and standout players with a trophy. At your headquarters for sports awards, Crown Trophy of Peabody, our staff of experts can help you make the right selection to meet your needs and budget. Get ready for competition season with Crown Trophy of Peabody. Your competitors will flip with our gymnastics and cheerleading trophies and awards. Let our expert staff help you find the right choice today. Learn more at crowntrophy.com/trophies.
All right, following the Comanche timeout, their first of the half. It's 3rd and goal from just inside the 3. They send all the receivers to the right. Johnson takes a snap. He's going to call his number. Will he get the block? No! The speedy defense by the Vikings forces him back to the original line of scrimmage, being the 5. I wonder if they maybe somebody missed a block there.
No, Tom. I think the defense heard you say that the quarterback might keep the ball next time. I think the defense heard you, Tom.
I have a feeling sometimes they kind of look into the future. It's like, okay, he's going to try it again. But a lot of times when I say that, the play doesn't work.
Now, what happened that time? The outside linebacker just stayed home. That's all. He was able to read the play easily. Great.
Well, this is definitely going for a territory. 4th and goal from the 5. They send 3 receivers, 2 left, 1 right, in an empty gun. Let's see what Johnson can do. It's actually a wildcat play, and it's going to be a little short. Stephon Monroe ends up calling his own number and falls a yard short. He's stopped at the 1, and the Viking defense holds true. I'll tell you something, Comanche, they turned the ball over on downs. We almost had visions of Super Bowl 34 in our heads after that one.
Oh, I was there for that in the Georgia Dome. I was there for that game. That was down to the wire, down to the 1-yard line. Well, on that play there, Tom, actually the call was a great call. He just cut back a little too soon. Had he waited for the block to develop a little bit more, he would have walked into the end zone.
Well, sometimes when you got everything on the line, you end up making these little adjustments, and it ends up sometimes backfiring.
Absolutely.
All right, here is Antoine Davis back at quarterback for the Vikings. 1st and 10, as far back as they can go. Now, flags are down. Somebody jumped, and it looks like it's a false start. And let's put it this way, it's not going to be very much of a penalty because the penalty is only going to be about a foot.
Yeah, but he'll lose it down, though.
Well, no, you repeat it down. It's 1st and 10, a third. So, they can do it a whole bunch of times, and they'll just get closer and closer to the goal line and just drive everybody crazy.
Correction, he did not lose it down.
All right, so 1st and 10, a third from the half-yard line. Davis fires, and the pass is caught and getting out of danger. That is Rob Albro for a 1st down at the 12-yard line.
Well, Tom, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the underneath routes, the slants, the hitches. That's what I've been talking about it all day. They have to give the offense a chance to move the ball out of the passing game. And the way you do it, you don't just throw bombs all day. And you don't have a running quarterback. You have to throw the ball underneath. Great job there.
Clock running down to almost 4:20 left here in the third quarter. Still only a 2-point game between the Vikings and the Comanche.
Ball on the 12-yard line.
Let's see what happens with I think Davis. There's a handoff this time. That's going to be Jamal Albro crossing the 15-yard line, maybe to the 16. So a nice 4 yards there.
Great call on the run because the linebackers are anticipating underneath passes, and they were backpedaling. They did not check for run first, and that opened up that lane.
That'll force a 2nd and 6 after a 4-yard pickup. And I think right now, in order for these Vikings to come through. I think they're going to need to score on this drive, and they're going to need to convert the conversion to go along with it to make it a 2-score game.
Those conversions are very vital, absolutely.
All right, here we go. 2nd and 6 from the 16-yard line. Here's Davis in the shotgun, back to his right. He'll wait to snap. It's a low one again, but they do get the handoff, and it's Jamal Albro plowing his way past the 20. He's going to be about a yard short of a first down, but I'll tell you, that's some power running by Jamal.
Great individual effort there. He wanted to get to the first down, but he almost got there, but great run on his part. What happened also, the defense on that right side, they were all flat-footed. They were not ready for the snap of the ball.
Under 3 minutes left here in the third quarter. Vikings by 2. It is, and clock's been running a little bit more this quarter. So, and I guess a lot of the way the game's been moving has been because of the running game here. So from the 20, 3rd and a yard, Davis in the shotgun, back to his left. They want to make sure they have everything lined up. It's a handoff, and sneaking through for a first down is Jamal to the midfield stripe. Again, another 4 yards and moving the chains. Remember, these Vikings were all the way back to like less than the 1 yard line. Here they are at the midfield stripe, coming down 2:15 left in the third.
Tom, you got to give props to that center. He is owning the defensive tackle or the nose guard. He was getting him out the way, plowing it right down the field to make it easier for his back to get some yards. This is something that I did not expect to see out of the Vikings, but they have it in their repertoire, obviously. Good for them.
All right, so from the midfield stripe, 1st and 10. Davis in the shotgun. That's pretty much been the entire game here. He'll sidewind it, and that pass is caught by Rob Albro, and he'll get a few yards on the play inside the 20 to the 18. Gain of 7.
They are fired up, and they are ready to go. This team here is now running the offense the way that they expected to do. They're timely passing, timely running, great blocking. Everybody seems to be on the same page, and that causes a problem for the defense.
As he stepped out of bounds, we're down to 1:45 left here in the third quarter. It'll be 2nd and 3. Ball is right outside the 18-yard line.
Very low-risk plays here. I love the pass calls.
Well, let's see what Davis does here. Extra blocker on the right. Davis has a back to his left here. That's pretty much been the basic formation throughout this drive. Showing blitz. Back the pass. Davis looking. Oh, he's in trouble. Down he goes. Back in his own territory to 20. That's a big loss on the play. Losing 13 yards. And the one who caused the chaos, Jordan Bell.
Yeah, Jordan Bell's been all over the field today. He's been doing a great job. But right there, again, you have your receivers going too deep. They're running all these deep routes. If they're covered, the quarterback has nowhere to go. He doesn't have a safety valve. It's another one of these issues with the 8-man football, I think, is that you don't have those safety valves to just dump the ball out to somebody because everybody's either out deep or they're pass protecting. So they have a situation out there, 3rd and long. Let's see if they try to get some yardage just to get a chance to get the first down on 4th down.
Under a minute and counting left in the third quarter. They go with a 3-receiver set, and now backing away is Breon. And now flag is down. Here's a pass. It's going to be caught, missed tackle, and going to about the 19-yard line. I have a feeling the preliminary is going to be, it might be an offside call here. Or it could be an illegal formation foul. We'll see. The officials are discussing. It's an illegal shift. So the penalty is against the Vikings, so it'll be an interesting call for the Comanche. What do they do? Take the 5 yards, or do they risk a 4th and 4?
Take the 5 yards, in my opinion, as a coach.
It almost sounds obvious after a 12-yard sack, tack on another 5 yards, and now you got like a 3rd and 20 coming up.
Take the 5 yards. You don't want to get them anywhere near that first down. Push them back any way you can.
Well, they are pushing it back all the way to the the 15-yard line. Like I said, the numbers are confusing. I got to consider, You got to remember that the 25-yard line is the midfield stripe on a regulation football field. So I just got to remember 25 is what you got to deal with.
So that last play, Tom, they were throwing hitches underneath. I think they'll go back to that because that was open.
3rd and a long ways for the Vikings. Empty gun for Davis, who takes the snap. He's going to roll right. He has time. Looking, stops, fires across his body, and it's going to be a little bit short. The pass is incomplete. So it ends up being 4th and long, and I assume we're going to have a punt.
So that was a play, what we call a mesh route, where the receivers, they run crossing routes, one's above, and he went back to the backside one, to the one on the other side, which I don't understand why. He had the one receiver coming across towards play side. He actually had a chance to throw the ball to him, but I guess he didn't feel comfortable with that throw. So now they're going to be punting.
It is definitely going to be a punt, and John Galanis will be standing on his 4-yard line. Whistle blew before the snap. And they're counting to see how many men are on the field for both sides. No, a timeout's going to be called by the Comanche. And that's their second one. All right, following that timeout, here is the punt by Galanis. A little bit of a pooch punt that will go in the end zone. Almost went over the pylon, but it is ruled a touchback.
Great anticipation by the kick returner. He took a chance, and it worked out for him, because that would have been ugly had it gone behind the pylon.
So there's 14 seconds left here in the third quarter. I was trying to give you how much time was left, but we had a little bit of a technical glitch. But it ends up being Dauphin County ball, and the Comanche will have 1st and 10 from the 10-yard line. That's what happens with a touchback. You start from the 10.
I don't know about you, Tom. This third quarter is going by pretty fast. I remember compared to the first quarter.
Well, think about this much. You don't see a quarter in GEFA where you're without scoring.
True.
So this is an unusually low-scoring game for GEFA 8-on-8 standards. Here's Johnson to pass. He's under a rush. He's going to fire. It's intercepted! Or is it? No, they're going to rule it incomplete.
Wow, what a mismatch on the offensive line. The defensive end was a major mismatch for the Comanche offensive line play. I think it was a running back trying to take on a defensive end. He had no chance, and he put the pressure on the quarterback.
That was such a close call, Rich, because you realize he tried to get his knee down inbounds as quickly as he could, but I guess he hit the temporary sideline, and that's why they ruled it incomplete.
Absolutely.
It's also possible he may not have had exact possession of the ball, too. Here is 2nd and 10 from the 10-yard line. Johnson in the shotgun. He got away with one. 9 seconds left in the quarter. He goes back to pass. Looking, fading, firing. It is incomplete. They went for Derek Watts, but he couldn't come down with it on the midfield stripe. And with 3 seconds left here in the third, one more play should do it for this quarter.
Well, although the quarterback was in an awkward position, he was falling back and throwing it. It was a great decision because they caught the DB looking in the backfield. He threw it right over his head, and the receiver was wide open. So great decision by the quarterback. It just didn't execute it on the receiving end.
All right, so the ball is at the 10-yard line. It is 3rd and 10 from that spot. I mean, the play calls have been there. It's just the execution hasn't quite followed through.
Absolutely. And you need both all the time, every play.
Well, they get all the receivers on the right. 3rd and 10 from the 10, back to the right of Johnson. He'll take it, goes back to pass, has some time now. They're coming. He'll have to fire it, and there's a flag down as the pass is incomplete. Johnson took a lick as he threw the football, and he needs a little help getting up. And that might be what a flag is all about.
Yeah, that was a big hit on the quarterback. It didn't look like it was late, but it may have been the way he hit him with the crown of his helmet, and he led with his helmet, which should be illegal even in 8-man football.
Keith Dolman, the head referee, trying to get the information from his judges as to what happened. And we'll see what the signal is. We're at three-quarter time. We're going to find out what the penalty is before we go to break. Actually, is the penalty going to be
holding?
Oh, they're going to call holding instead. Wow. So we've reached three-quarter time and a scoreless third. So the Vikings lead the Comanche by a score of 20-18. We'll catch this break. The final quarter, and it will be an exciting one, comes your way after this. All right, coming back for the beginning of the final quarter, and a punt nearly blocked, but it's going to take a decent bounce and roll out of bounds for the Vikings. They're going to spot the ball at the 14-yard line. So that's where the Vikings will begin 1st and 10. So to MMG, we apologize for that. I mean, I could reread the spot a little bit later, but why not? M&G Concessions and Catering, they've been a family-owned business for 20 years, and they provide an abundance of gourmet food, like you just saw on the screen, to keep our customers' hunger satisfied. They serve everything from fresh homemade crab cakes right down to hot dogs and hamburgers for any party bash that you might have, and they're out of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, so check them out and call them 610-533-2251. All right, final quarter time. Tom Wilkins with Rich Harrigan here. Keystone Bowl 18 for GEFA. Coming down to the nitty-gritty.
Exciting game here, Tom.
You got that right. Not necessarily a barn burner, but a close game nonetheless. Here's a hard tackle as Jamal Albro took the handoff and went down to about the 15, so only a 1-yard pickup.
Yeah, it looks like Albro gave up on the block. He should have kept. He, again, cut inside a little too soon on that play. If he should have kept outside, he would have got a little more yards.
Now, the Vikings, of course, are led by Thor Marlowe, their head coach, and he's also the owner. Offensive coordinator Stan Beatty, offensive line coach David Rutsch, defensive coordinator Brad Esposito Jr., and defensive line coach Brandon Maynard. Also, defensive assistants are Colin Kerfoot and Forrest Adams. Special teams led by Andy Krager, assisted by Josh Sweeney. Both teams established in 2016. One of them's going home with their first ever Keystone Bowl title. This is a sweep play. That's Dane Bright getting his first call, and he gets to about the 20, and there's a hard tackle there. They're going to give him the 21, so it's going to be 3rd and 3 coming up.
Not a bad way to mix it up a little bit, try something a little different. It may set up a play off of that later, actually.
Very possible. Now, keep in mind, Dauphin County, they have a 6-4 career postseason record. They've won 2 division titles and 2 conference titles. For Moshannon Valley, the Vikings have won 4 division titles and 1 conference title. Neither team has won a Keystone Bowl in about half an hour or so. One of these teams will go home with their inaugural title.
Big down here, third and 4.
Davis in the shotgun, 3 receivers, 2 to the left. Davis will take a snap, a good one, looking, now the rush coming, firing, pass is caught, and there is Bright.
He may be out.
Yes, he is. He's in.
He's in.
Woo! Oh, man.
What a play.
What a Bright play indeed. Dane Bright gets the touchdown from 29 yards out and extends the lead for the Vikings, but here's something else to consider. They have to make the conversion.
Absolutely.
And I would not be surprised if they get a 1-point conversion to force a 2-score game.
Well, we'll see where the head coach is at on this one. This would be a great decision. This could determine a lot towards the end of the game. But I tell you right now, that play call was fantastic. It gave the quarterback an option down the field and underneath. Excellent call.
Definitely a great call. And for Dane Bright, he had 11 catches going into this game. He gets his 4th receiving touchdown. So, and definitely one of his longest at 29 yards. He's over 200 yards receiving for the year. So the officials, they're going to – this is an interesting decision here.
Yeah, they're going from the 5, it looks like, Tom.
I find this very unusual because if you go from the 3, it's a 9, and you make it, it's a 9-point game. So I know they want to run for points, but remember – if the Comanche score a touchdown, they get a 2. They have a tie game if you miss.
Yeah, this is when coaching really gets down to the nitty-gritty.
Now, the officials are still talking. There's a possibility of there being a post-possession penalty. So it'll be very interesting to see what this is all about.
Yeah, we've had a lot of intriguing discussions on the field with the refs and the rules and the penalties. It's been interesting.
Well, while they figure it out, just a little thing from GEFA, the Great Eastern Football Association. This is a league that's been around since 2005. This is their 18th year. Now they're signaling it's an unsportsmanlike conduct foul. Oh, wow. And an ejection. It's against Dauphin County.
Wow, that's huge. Yeah, they're mouthing off now.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to do that. I know it's early, and points can come in droves. Oh, one never knows. Now, remember, it's a 10-game year for GEFA. Each team plays 5 home and away contests. They have a lot of historic running teams, the Williamsport Wildcats, the Lancaster County Cyclones, the Mifflin County Tomahawks, to name a few. Like I said, James Simerson, he's the president of the league, his 4th year as president, and obviously doing a very nice job in doing so. So what's happened, and now I think they may have telegraphed what I was saying. The conversion is going to be from the 3. So, well, they're going to do it from the 3 to make it a 1-point conversion, because if they make that, that's a 2-score game.
Absolutely.
Let's see what happens. They go empty gun here, and now a flag goes down. What's this all about?
Well, it's come from the sideline.
Might be a sideline warning here. And the Comanche, I think, got called for a sideline warning there. Unfortunately, the guy hit with an unsportsmanlike conduct foul, which I believe also resulted in an ejection. And I think the penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. We will see.
Well, I tell you, the coaches from the Comanche side, they've been on the field the majority of the first half just the same way.
And right now, one of the coaches for the Comanche yelling at Sean Steve, I don't know for what. But things are starting to get a little bit heated away from the actual game.
Yeah, the coach has been pretty animated. Even in the first half, he spent a lot of time on the field.
All right, a low snap. Here's a pass, and it's knocked away, incomplete, and that is huge.
Big time.
Billy Thompson was in for the conversion. It gets knocked away by Quentin Thomas, and it remains an 8-point game. But let's show you the touchdown to Dane Bright, our AutoZone replay. That guy's a speedster, isn't he?
Yeah, on this play here, they gave the quarterback an opportunity to actually get away from the pocket, which is actually helping them take away all that pressure on him.
Now watch what happens. Here's the cut inward, and away he goes.
Fantastic route underneath. They had another guy going across the way, and the defender couldn't cover both of them.
Well, believe it or not, and as we say, get in the zone, AutoZone, the Vikings up by 8. But the Comanche are still in it. As low as this, for a 8-on-8 game, as low as the score has been, the Comanche are still in it. Here's the kickoff, and it's taken right in the end zone. And this is going to be Nigel Williams, and Williams will get to about the 17, maybe the 18-yard line.
Yeah, he actually lost yardage going across the field. Had he stayed straight, he had two defenders in front of him and 2 blockers in front of him. He would have had a better opportunity just coming down the right side of the sideline here.
So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 17-yard line. 26-18 to score. There is a second under 10 minutes left in regulation.
Well, let's see how Comanche – see how they respond now. There's been a lot of emotion on that last touchdown, and before they did the extra point try. Let's see where their heads are now, see if their captains and their leaders on the team can keep their heads above water and focus on each play. and executing each play.
And let's not forget about this. We've had the ebbs and flows in the first half. First, the Vikings had the momentum. Then the Comanche have had the momentum. And now it's been a back-and-forth boxing match pretty much. And getting into the later rounds, like the last couple of rounds here. And now I went there. Oh, okay, I see what's going on here. Because of the unsportsmanlike against Dauphin County after the touchdown, they're going to mark it half the distance and move it all the way back to the 11-yard line.
Right, so it's a post kick spotting.
Okay, that I've never seen, but that's the explanation. 1st and 10 from the 11. This is going to be a run. That is McCullough, and McCullough stays on his feet. We'll see if they give him forward progress, but there's also a Comanche player that's down at the line of scrimmage.
And that last play, McCullough was trying his best to get to the outside, but they ran him down.
That might be Sile Hinson that's down, and they will attend to him. So I'll tell you what, why don't we just take this break here with 9:51 left in regulation, 26-18, Vikings over to Comanche. We'll come back in a moment. Back here at Andre Reed Stadium here at Kutztown University. 9:51 remains in regulation. We just had an injury timeout as Sile Hinson was shaken up on the last play. He just got helped to the sideline. It is 2nd and 10 from the 11-yard line. Actually, there's like a half a yard loss, so maybe 2nd and 11. Crowd getting loud for both sides, especially from Moshannon Valley out of West State College. They made the trip to Kutztown for this beauty. Here's Johnson back to pass, pump fakes. He has a man open, and it's just a little bit out of his reach.
Wow.
J.J. Custer just could not bring it in, and it ends up going incomplete.
Once again, they showed that trips right. They looked for the pitch of the toss right. Quarterback faked it. He had the man wide open on the backside. Great call, poor execution.
Now, here's an interesting scenario here for Dauphin County. They're down 8. They now have 3rd and 11. They have one timeout left. So that's something else to consider, too.
Absolutely.
If 3rd and 11 doesn't go as planned.
Well, right now they should be looking for sideline throws, anything to get to the sideline, and that will get them a lot more yardage as well. So they can't throw anything in down the middle. They can't have any long running plays.
Here we go, 3rd and 11. From the 10-yard line, Johnson, an empty gun, low snap. Oh, he's being rushed. There's the fire pass way over the head of the intended receiver, Derek Watts, and it's incomplete.
I would have preferred for them to rather have him go deep. He could have stopped and did a comeback route, and he would have had the first down, and it would have been a sideline route. He could have get out of bounds, too.
Well, knowing that there's 9:18 left in regulation, I think the Comanche are going to punt. They've changed their personnel. So I would suspect they're going to try and play a field position game.
Well, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of time left. There's a lot of football left. And the way this game's been going, anything can happen on any play. And right now, the Comanche have to do what's smart. And the smart thing is to get the ball in bad field position for the opponent.
And now the defense is going to have to be in must-stop mode. They know they're going to get probably one more possession.
And they have the defense that can do it, too, Tom. They have the defense.
And they force a couple of big turnovers here in this game. Let's see what happens. Snap coming. A good punt. It's going to go out of bounds. We'll see where they spot it. Probably the 15. They might say possibly the 21.
Wow.
All right, we'll split the difference. The 19-yard line. So
Not a good kick.
So that's the Vikings' possession, 1st and 10.
Not a good kick at all.
Not necessarily the best kick you want, but now the defense needs to dig in for the Comanche.
I'm expecting to see that defensive line continue to put pressure. You're probably going to get the Vikings going to run the ball a little bit down. They were pretty successful running the ball out of their base formation earlier. I think they're going to go back to that.
Shall we say heightened ball security at this point?
Absolutely.
From the 19, 1st and 10. 3 receivers set, 2 to the right, back to the right. And again, they send Bright in motion.
Yeah, great
and it's
call.
going to be a call to the midfield stripe down to the 24-yard line. They decide to go with Jamal Albro, and that worked out very nicely for a gain of 7.
Great diversion play right there. It works on every level of football. The linebacker has to pause and read, and he can't overcommit to one or the other. Great job there. And the running back kept his feet moving after he got tripped up. Great job.
So it is 2nd and 3 from the 24-yard line. Clock running down to 8:40 left in regulation. Vikings want to run the clock. I don't think they're going to take up 8 minutes and 40 seconds and only go 24 yards, but one never knows.
Their job right now is to protect the ball and keep good field position.
Okay, here is Davis in the shotgun. Same formation as before. Low snap, another handoff, open for Albro, and Jamal gets a first down inside the 20 to the 18-yard line.
Great cutback on a trap play, no doubt. They haven't run a trap play all game. That was the first time I've actually seen a trap play run by this team, and that was a great job. It was great timing, great execution, and the fact remains that they are in control right now.
They definitely are as the clock approaches 8 minutes till regulation. 1st and 10 from the 18-yard line for the Moshannon Valley Vikings.
Comanche defense needs a big stop here. They need a big turnover or something to go their way.
Well, they need to stop the momentum first. In the shotgun is Davis. Back to the left, 3 receivers, 2 to the left. Davis looks over everybody. Obviously, they're running some clock, and I think they ran a little too much clock. And it's a delay of game.
I'm not sure what's going on. The communication seems to be very bad from the sideline to the quarterback.
So that backs it up 5 yards, so it makes it 1st and 15 back at the 23-yard line. Now, consider this. Neither team is used to playing on a big field. Now, you're looking at Kutztown. They have a temporary sideline, and that's why everything has shrunk for 8-on-8.
Well, I mentioned that earlier too, Tom, that neither one of these teams, they've probably had great regular season runs. They probably dominated most of their games. They haven't been in tight games like this, like a third quarter where nobody scores. That's unheard of for both of these teams, I guarantee you.
That's something you don't see very often in GEFA, that's for sure.
Right.
For a scoreless quarter to happen. 1st and 15. Ball to 23-yard line. Again, Bright sent in motion. Play fake.
Yeah.
Davis will throw to Bright. A spin move, crossing the 20 down to the 15-yard line. That was almost Lamar Jackson spin mode.
And that was definitely an athletic move that you want from your star players. You want with your key players. Big plays from big players is what you need in situations like this. And that was a big play. Executed to an extension of the ability of the receiver.
I'll tell you, my ankles were hurting watching that play.
Absolutely.
So it is 2nd down, and they gain the penalty yards back and 4. So it's 2nd and 6 from the 14-yard line.
Like you said, Tom, they need to stop the momentum. They have not done that
And here's
yet.
a handoff trying to sneak through to get inside the 10 to the 9, Jamal Albro. And that gets him to a 3rd and probably about 1.5 yards.
I'm seeing that defense getting tired, too. They're gassing out there. Okay, guys with hands on their hips, deep breaths right now, okay? I would just keep running the ball. And to tell you the truth, I would go no huddle right now if it was me. I would go no huddle. The clock is one thing. I understand, but you got momentum. You want to keep these guys tired and make it so that you can just walk into the end zone. And if it goes like this might happen unless they can stop them.
Defensive play of the game right now for the Comanche. 3rd and about 2 from the 10. Davis takes. Handoff Jamal. He'll have a first down, crossing the 5 down to about the 3.
Yeah, they're gassing. They got him.
And the offensive line is making those moves. And to make matters worse, remember, the Comanche only have 1 timeout left.
Well, no. If I'm the Comanche, I would actually let them score. And I would let them score so that I have as much more time left on the clock as possible. I don't have to worry about killing all my timeouts. Let them score now. You get the ball back. You got to get down there and score quickly. And then you play the timeout game and you try to stop them. Because right now, they just got too much momentum right now.
First and goal from the 3-yard line. And let's see what Davis does here, trying to make it a 2-score game for the Vikings. They had that in the first quarter. Calling his number is Davis. He's going the wrong way, and he goes down at about the 12-yard line.
Well, you don't
that
need,
one I didn't understand.
Well, you don't need to make them score if they're going to execute a play like that. I don't. This is not this quarterback's strength. Why are you not just running the ball down the middle? Force them to make the tackle. Force them to call timeout. Force them to do whatever they need to do to make it bad for them. But you're not. Now you're making it easy for them.
Well, consider this, too. I mean, you could have thrown the ball away, but then the bad thing about it is you stopped the clock.
But that's okay, though, because you're still in position. Because you're still in positions, it's only first down. You still got another down to live. So you have 3 more downs before you can get this ball up without a traditional turnover. So you can actually throw the ball away, come back, reset, get your shit together. Excuse me. Get your stuff together, and and to try to get this thing right.
All right. Well, they had a holding penalty that was refused. That was on the Vikings. They had to reset the clock, and now it's running to 5:15 left. Here's Davis on second down, throwing. Pass is caught. That's Bright, and Bright goes down to about the 6.
Okay. Good throw underneath. It's a safe pass. You don't want to throw it in the end zone just yet because it might get picked off because they're protecting the goal line.
And now it is 3rd and goal. They're going to spot it at. So it is now a 3rd and goal from the 6. Or wait, are they signaling 4th down? I'm sorry, did I miss something?
Oh, because they didn't take the penalty, remember?
Oh, they refused the penalty. That might have been it. Interesting. All right, well, I guess it is 4th down from 6. Yeah, well, I keep track of these plays in succession, but in the meantime, and now I think the Vikings are going to call timeout. That's probably the smart thing here. So we'll take a break. 4:24 left in regulation. The Vikings looking to extend their lead over to Comanche, 26-18. We'll come back in just a moment. All right, so following the timeout by the Vikings, they have 2 remaining. They're facing with a very interesting scenario here. 4th and goal from the 6-yard line. And I'll be interested to see how this all plays out as they're going to line up in pretty much the formation that they've had pretty much the whole second half. 3 receivers, this time 2 on the right. It'll be Davis in the shotgun, back to the left. Oh, did somebody jump? Oh, they blew the play dead.
That was on the offense, from what I saw.
We'll see what the penalty is. The officials will discuss.
Unless they infracted the neutral zone.
4:24 remaining, and it sounds like
Neutral
it's going to be
infraction.
against the Comanche for another neutral zone infraction.
That was close.
And the hard count kind of got him again. So half the distance to the goal, and now be, I guess, 4th and goal from the 3.
4th and goal from the 3.
And again, a huge, huge play. Remember, it's a 1-score game, but if the defense holds, then the Comanche have a chance to tie it. But let's get through
Big
this
time
play
here.
first.
Here we go. This could turn the game around one way or another.
All right, Davis in the shotgun, 4th and goal. It's a handoff going to the middle, and did they get in? He might be short. He is short.
He's short.
By half a yard.
Still a great call, though. Still a great call. You got 90, well, not 99 yards, but you know what I mean.
That would be a long GEFA football field.
They have goal line. They have goal line to go right now, so that's still a great call.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. The defense, they held by the skin of their teeth, and with 4:20 left in regulation, Looks like for the Comanche, 49.5 will do.
Well, the two things. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
They will need to get that many yards to get the score and then go for 2 to try and tie it.
Well, the two things that contributed to that for the Comanche was that the Vikings called a timeout, so that helped them a lot. All right. Then the rollout pass option for the quarterback, which got sacked, was a big plus for the defense.
Well, let's see what London Johnson can do. Oh, a flag is down. What's this all about? Oh, a substitution violation against the Comanche, but it's really more like a who cares penalty because the penalty only goes back maybe a millimeter.
Well, one thing for sure that they won't lose it down.
Oh, goodness.
Boom, boom.
Going Luann loud on me. It'll still be 1st and 10 and a millimeter. And let's see what London Johnson does. Empty gun. He's standing midway in the end zone.
Big time play here. We'll see.
Well, you never know. Crazier things have happened. Johnson back. Going to
for
take
it
the
all.
lob. He has a man, and it is incomplete. That was a great touch pass. Brendan Kreger was the intended receiver, but Johnson had the right idea, and he almost got it.
That was a great play and executed by all three, actually. Quarterback threw a great ball. The receiver had a chance to catch it, and the defender defended it.
But the coverage also was very good.
Awesome. It was awesome.
So it'll be 2nd and 10 as the ball, again, literally about the 130-yard line. You can't go much further back, otherwise it's a safety and it's a 2-score game.
Well, we'll see here. They have quite a few options with 4 minutes left still, though. They're not out of this. They just need to get the ball downfield.
4:14 to be exact left in regulation.
They need a little breathing room. That's all they need.
Johnson takes a snap. Here they come. Oh, he's got some room to run. He'll get out of trouble, crossing the 10 and get out of bounds at the 15. That's a 1st down. That's at least 30% of what they need, and they reset the down markers.
That's the one guy that everyone forgets about on defense on these kind of situations. The quarterback. They always forget about the quarterback.
Ends up being a nearly 14-yard gain, but it moves the sticks.
He actually could have stayed in bounds, and he would have had more yards. But
well, remember, the Comanche only have 1 timeout left and 4:07 on the clock, so they're in decent shape. It's just a matter of executing the plays that they need to possibly tie this game. A touchdown won't do it, but a conversion, if successful, if they scored a touchdown, will be the difference here.
Yeah, they got to go error-free here.
Johnson, empty gun again, 1st down, good snap, has time, backpedals. Now he's under a rush. He's going to run. He might run a little more, crossing the 15, and then steps out to 17. Again, it stops the clock.
His receiver didn't help him at all. His receiver should have broke downfield when he saw the quarterback running up. It would have gave him an extra 10 yards to run if he decided to run.
Ends up being a 2-yard gain. He stopped out to 16, but the clock stops at 3:58 left. So if anything, when you're talking about a time consideration, they're doing a good job, at least in the time management department, because they should be in decent shape from here.
Absolutely. Running out of bounds was the best thing that he could do.
He did that the last 2 plays, and it's conserved a good amount of time.
Having a short field, you're always in scoring position.
2nd and 8 from the 41-yard line. Johnson this time with a back to his left will take it. And it's a pitch, and it's juggled, falling down is the running back, and he ends up losing 3 yards on the play. Oh, my goodness. Stephon Monroe was the one who had it, but he juggled. He was lucky he fell on it, and now the clock runs. And there's still time. I mean, it's like 3:50 and counting.
I never understood, Tom, why teams pitch the ball backwards when you're already in shotgun and you're driving to try to win the game. You do not want to go backwards. Everything's got to be forward.
And now it's 2 plays.
Right. You got to put the pressure on the defense.
3rd and 11. Ball spotted at 13-yard line. Actually, they have J.J. Custer as a receiver, and they have all 3 receivers on the right. Waiting for the snap. Johnson take it. There's a rush. Rolling left.
Good
looking.
pickup by the back.
He fires. He's firing to nobody.
Good
Threw it
pickup.
out of bounds, incomplete.
Good pickup by the running back, McCullough, on that. He picked up the blitzing linebacker.
And I'd have to say this is go for it territory. You have 3:10 left. You have 3:10 left. You have one timeout. You have the 2-minute warning. This play might decide this game right here.
Could be for all the marbles. You're absolutely correct. But again, you have to understand they're in position because the quarterback used his feet. I think this is the time for the quarterback to do the same again. They're going to have the receivers covered, I guarantee you. They have great secondary coverage the entire game.
It is very loud here at Andre Reed Stadium with
it's going to be up to the quarterback, I guarantee you.
3:10 left. 4th and 11 from the 13-yard line. And, I'm surprised they let it go. Here's a deep ball left side. There's a flag down. It is incomplete, but we have a flag. Hold on a second. Let's see what this is all about. And it sounds like by the body language of the Vikings, it could be on them.
It definitely looks like a pass interference on defense.
It may have impeded the route of the receiver along the far side, and if that's so, that's going to be a new set of downs and a huge break for the Comanche.
From my view, Tom, it looked like he was holding on to his hip and maybe grabbed him right before he could try to get a chance to catch the pass.
Sheldon Jones is pleading his case. And with 3:04 left, the officials have said it is indeed pass interference against the Vikings, and that is an automatic first down on a 4th and 11.
Wow. Huge turnaround. Huge turnaround there. They have new life.
And they're almost halfway there. They started literally their own goal line, and now they're at their own 23.
They have to let this quarterback have options to run. He can't just chuck it up there every time because he's going to leave time on the clock for the team if they score too quick.
London Johnson in an empty gun here, and now officials are blowing the whistle to make sure they have the right number of personnel on the field. Like I said, this is a fast-moving half, but you knew these last few minutes were going to go in molasses,
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what we're seeing here. 1st and 10 for the 23 years. Johnson
Good
back.
Snap.
Big rush coming.
You
He has
gotta
room to
run.
run. He wants. He throws.
No, you
and
gotta
a pass
run.
knocked away. Incomplete. Knocked away by Malik Breon. They went for Devontae Johnson. And that was a close call there.
I'm sorry. The quarterback has got, in this situation, he has to understand everybody's going to be covered just about. It's a very small field. The field's not very wide at all. You have a better option to make them chase you, and you try to get out of bounds with your feet if you need to.
So it makes it 2nd and 10 from their own 23-yard line. A tick under 3 minutes left in regulation, and the Vikings up 8. The Comanche know what's at stake here. In order to tie the game, they got to get a touchdown, and once they do that, they'll have a chance to tie for a 2-point conversion. They go 4 receiver, 3 to the right. Low snap, but Johnson will fire, and he threw way too quickly, incomplete, probably in the direction of Devontae Johnson again.
Again, he had the receiver open, actually. He needs to set his feet. You have to have confidence in the play call. You have to have confidence in your abilities. You got to make the decisions that need to be made in these situations right now. It's a crucial time right now. The quarterback is the key to this drive, no matter what the receivers or the O-line do. He needs to be near perfect to get this drive completed.
Well, he has 2 more shots to get 10 yards, and he'll need to get to the 17 of the Vikings. That's the line of gain to keep the drive going. 2:56 remain.
And, Johnson, he has the skills. He has the skills to get this done. But the defense is playing well, too. They got to give the defense credit for the Vikings.
Let's see if the defense stays in their lanes here. 3rd and 10 from the 23 and an empty gun. Here's Johnson. He's under a big rush. He will fire, and is it caught? No sign yet from the far side official. Oh, they're going to rule it incomplete.
Again, they're getting great pressure on the quarterback. He needs to either redirect himself.
So now the question to you here, Rich, what would you change here on this 4th and 10?
Well, again, I'm going to repeat it. It's 4th and 10 now, so you have slim pickings here. You have to flood one side so the quarterback has levels underneath, a mid-range, and a deep-range throw. And then he has the option to run with it as well. That's the only thing they can do right now.
All right, well, here we go. 2:49 left. 4th and 10 from the 23. An enormous play once again. A low snap. Going back Johnson. Firing incomplete. He ended up throwing it away. It looked like Derek Watt stopped on his route.
Nah, he was looking for the pass interference. That's why he threw it.
Well, you can't play and expect to get penalties on the defense all the time.
Well, that's what he did that time, and that's why he threw it because, yeah, absolutely. But, Tom, I agree with you. That's not the way to play football. But that's what he did on this play. He saw the defender stop with the receiver, and he just threw it in that direction.
Well, here's the story now for the Vikings. They get the ball on downs. They're at the Comanche 23-yard line. It's not over yet, but one first down can end it.
Absolutely.
Remember, the Comanche have one timeout and a 2-minute warning. So if they go to third down to get the first down, they're going to be champions of GEFA for 2022. So here's Antoine Davis in the shotgun. Moment of truth for this team. They hand it off. They do run it. And getting back to the line of scrimmage. Looks like they went with John Dauphin with the carry. That's his first carry, as a matter of fact.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. He's happy.
Well, he had 25 attempts going into this game.
Damn.
So, whatever the case may be, I mean, we've seen a lot of running, but a lot of times you feature a lot of different players for certain packages, and that's what it is.
Well, wherever he's from, his fan base is happy right now.
Here we go. It's second and 10 from the 23. Taking the snap. Jobson again, crossing the 20 to the 19.
Great call.
Now we've reached the 2-minute warning.
Absolutely.
So here's the story. There's still one timeout left, but it won't mean anything if the Comanche does not stop them on third down.
Well, on this play here, and you guys might be shocked, and Tom, you might be surprised that I say this. I know 17, he's not a runner. I would make him run now. I would fake that run and have him just run because nobody's covering him at all. Nobody's expecting him to run anything.
Those of you who have been watching
and he'll
here,
walk into the end zone.
I'm sorry. Those of you who have been watching here, Keystone Ball 18 here on the HSG Network, the GEFA Championship. This game has been presented by MMG Concessions and Catering, High Grade Graphics, Crown Trophy, Thunder Tats Tattoo Studio, Rusty Dog Custom Printing, and Powers Creative Imagery. Replays for this game presented by AutoZone. Of course, visit AutoZone.com for a dealer near you. Get in the zone, AutoZone. And, of course, we thank all the sponsors and, of course, GEFA and James Simerson and all the crew for giving us the opportunity to do this championship game here from Kutztown this evening. Now, this is it. This is the championship down. 3rd and 6 from the 19. You get to the 13, you're GEFA champions.
I'll let the quarterback keep it on this one, Tom. I swear to God I would.
All right, well, let's see. Davis in the shotgun. He takes, back he goes. You're calling it. You're calling it to the 40. He's got it. He's got it. The problem is he stepped out of bounds, and that's going to be the only thing he did wrong was he stepped out of bounds. If he stays in bounds, then you run the clock.
Well, I tell you, what he didn't do right, he didn't even do the fake. He was supposed to fake first, and he didn't. And that's why he almost stumbled the whole thing. But great call still. The quarterback should not have run out of bounds, but he's not a runner, so he's just doing what his instincts tell him at the time.
That's true, and the ball is spotted at the 12-yard line. So with 1:53 left, the only thing hanging by a thread for the Comanche is one timeout. So really the turnover is the only thing that can save them.
Absolutely.
And even then, it may not be enough. So let's see what happens. A lot of weird things happen in championship games. Let's see what happens.
Let your running back tote the ball. Just give him the ball.
Yeah, that's why Dobson's in there. And he gets the handoff. And he's going to, again, this is ball security. And now down to about the 14-yard line. So a 2-yard loss. And now the last timeout being used by Dauphin County.
Yeah, this is it for them. They're gonna bank on there being some sort of mishap or missnap. And they are definitely not out of it yet. Anything can happen. Anything has happened in this game so far. A lot has happened that we didn't expect. I'm sure nobody else expected.
Well, I don't think anyone expected there being only 6 points in the second half combined by two teams, and one of the teams being shut out for a half. That you don't hear very often. But with your first game here, Rich, what are you most impressed with?
I'm actually most impressed with the defense. I am most impressed. I thought, if you remember my opening statement, was that's usually the Achilles heel for 8-man football. After you get past the defensive line, there's really no help and no support. The defensive line on both these teams have been great, and the pressure has been fantastic.
Okay, so 2nd and 12 from the 14-yard line. First down equals championship for this team from Moshannon Valley. Another handoff, and nothing doing there. The play is stopped at the 17-yard line. So another loss on the play, and all they're doing is running clock.
Yeah, this is on the quarterback's inability to stay in bounds. This is why this is happening right now.
Definitely agree with you.
Yeah, had he stayed in bounds, this game would be over by now. But, he's, like I said, he's not a runner, but he is a leader, and he kept his composure when he needed to. And he drove that ball down the last touchdown drive, which is why they're leading right now.
Clock running now as we're approaching 1:10 till time. Dauphin County cannot stop the clock. 3rd and 15 from the 17. Ball security is of utmost paramount performance. And now flag is down, and it's going to be a delay of game
again. Okay.
with 1:01 left. So they used all the time. It stops the clock, and they won't be snapping again. The clock won't be starting again until they snap the ball.
Yeah, so the Vikings bench and the coaches are upset because usually the referee puts his hand up when there's 10 seconds left on the clock, on the timer, and they're saying that he didn't do that this time. They're saying that he didn't do that this time.
I don't think anyone saw it, possibly.
Right.
All right, so now it'll be 3rd and quite a ways. Ball spotted to 23. I mean, to pass, it would be really risking it here. Let's see what happens. Davis takes it, and he's gonna fake it and run, and he. Oh wow! Oh no, he stayed in bounds. He stayed in bounds. He stopped his forward progress. He almost stepped out of bounds as the clock runs at 45 seconds left.
Davis, great job. You scared everybody there for a second, but you did a great job, young man. You got down right before you went out of bounds. Excellent job. And you're putting your team in position to win this game even better now.
Under 30 seconds left. Obviously, this is a time for them to take the delay a game. We'll see where they raise the hands, and they're still not doing it. Now no. Okay. All right, so they knew how much time was left, so a timeout's going to be called by Moshannon Valley.
There you go. That's good football.
So they stopped the clock with 13 seconds left.
No matter what, you want to control the clock right now, and that's what they're doing. They're doing an excellent job of that.
Well, their defense has been, more than impressive in this game.
Absolutely.
But my question is, for both sides, who's your player of the game?
Excellent question.
Well, let me share this with you. I mean, we have seen a lot of hard hittings, but I would have to say Con McCullough would be for Dauphin County. But for Moshannon Valley, lock, stock, and barrel, I give it to Rob Albro, especially for his first half heroics, which set up the Vikings with their chance at a championship in 13 seconds.
Well, I think that's a great choice, but for my choice, I have to give it to the defense for the Vikings, and that's the enforcer, number 99, Steve Eisenhuth. He put all the pressure on. He had about 2 sacks, if I'm not mistaken. He's done a great job. He forced the Comanche out of their game.
I'm surprised that they're lining up on offensive play. They should pooch punt. Let's see. On 4th down. Oh, he nearly juggled a snap, and now he's running backward. He's going to go down at about the 21-yard line. I do not understand the call because not only that, Dauphin County now has a shot in plus territory with 7 seconds left, maybe 2.
Unbelievable. He should just threw the ball in the end zone then, if that's the case.
Or pooch punt.
Or just pooch punt it. Honestly, I would have preferred them to actually punt the ball. That would have been fine too, because you push them back inside the 5-yard line, somewhere down there, and they have a longer shot. Okay. Or one thing you don't do as a quarterback, you don't run backwards.
Well, that was very surprising to see. Now the ball spotted at 22. 7 seconds left. Time for one play, maybe two. Now a flag is down, and another flag goes down. Now, could this be a sideline warning, or is it something else?
The young man walking up the side of the field down there, I can't catch his number. He threw his helmet off before he got off the field.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, I wish I was.
If that's a personal foul, that's 10 more yards. What are the Vikings doing? Now, at this point in the game, will the officiating crew call it? The answer is they're going to call it unsportsmanlike conduct.
Absolutely.
And an ejection
Yep,
with 7 seconds left.
Absolutely.
We're here in Kutztown. This is becoming the twilight zone of what we're seeing here these last couple minutes.
I'm not going to say for certain because we're not down on the field and we can't hear what's going on. I think he got substituted and he was mad because they pulled another guy in for the last play, and he got mad at his own coaching staff. And it does happen, but this is what I think happened this time. I'm not sure because I didn't see him and the referees going at it. I didn't see him and another player going at it. He just seemed to be upset with something else. But he took his helmet. He was getting off the field, and then he took his helmet off before he got to the sideline. He threw it off. He threw it down.
A huge mistake.
Yeah, and that's emotion. Win, lose, or whatever. You got to keep your cool. But he's a little upset. These things happen. I'm just glad that no one got hurt.
Well, let's be thankful for that. But I'll tell you what. I mean, we've had high drama here in these last few minutes, and it's gone even higher as the ball. It's a spot foul, and here's what's going on with Dauphin County. Oh, and now they're trying to figure out where to put the ball.
Yeah,
they're gonna. Wow, they're gonna spot it at the 8-yard line. That's like a full 15 yards.
That's a major blow to the
I don't think I've ever heard
Vikings
of this before.
Offense, to their entire team, for this to come down to one play.
Maybe two, depending on how quick this goes. Here we go. Johnson, a shotgun. Takes it. Goes back. Looks. Down to 4. Throws. Incomplete. And there's no flag. Now a late flag comes in with 1 second left. A very late flag. The defense actually tackled the receiver, I think outside the end zone. There's 1 second left. Now, if we get a chance to take a look. Now, keep in mind, folks.
Yeah, this will be interesting.
Yeah, let's take a look at what just happened here. Here's Johnson going back for the pass. Now, he has time.
He has the top receiver doing a crossing route all the way across the field. He
tackled him in the back of the end zone.
Yeah, definitely interference. Definitely pass interference.
This is unbelievable. Get in the zone, auto zone, or at least get in the end zone. I mean, can you imagine?
Any way you can.
How many chances can the Vikings give the Comanche?
This is the game of football, gentlemen.
Now, the ball's spotted at the 9-yard line. Now, let's see what happens. Now, they have only one play. Just keep in mind, game cannot end on defensive penalty. So here it is.
All right, here we go, folks. We're down to the
For
wire.
Keystone Bowl 18 in the GEFA Championship. Johnson in the shotgun, takes it, goes back, has time, looks, under a rush, takes a shot in the end zone, too far, it's incomplete, the game is over, and the Moshannon Valley Vikings are GEFA champions for 2022.
Wow.
In a very improbable finish, they gave the Comanche every possible chance to come back, but in the end, their defense held, and the Moshannon Valley Vikings are the 2022 champions of GEFA, defeating the Dauphin County Comanche 26-18 here at Kutztown University tonight. Are we out of breath yet?
Yes, we are. I tell you, great game for the Vikings. Very sad ending for the Comanche. They're great. Both teams well deserving of being here. Both of them fought hard to the final whistle, obviously, and a lot of mistakes along the way, but on both sides. Questionable penalties here and there maybe, but I can tell you right now, it was a game that neither one will forget. And the Comanche should be very proud of themselves, and they'll be hungry to get back here again, I'm sure.
Most
but
certainly.
Congratulations to the Vikings.
Their first championship in the 18-year history of GEFA. They've been around since 2016. Same have been with the Comanche. But the Vikings defense, I think you were right. You mentioned Stevie Eisenhuth. What a game he had. But you also got to say the Albro brothers, Jamal and Rob, they contributed in a huge way. And even though Antoine Davis, he may not have been the perfect quarterback, the play calling by the coaching staff in the end turned out to be very smart, and it was very effective, and that got them their first championship.
Well, you got to give it to the Vikings. They had 2 scoring plays. That made the difference in this game. The very first play of the game and their last completed pass of the game. that last touchdown, those 2 things were the difference in the game.
I'll put it to you this way. There is going to be a happy ride down Interstate 80 for these folks.
Were they from Harrisburg?
No. It's a Dauphin County's from Harrisburg, but it's the Moshannon Valley Vikings. They're located literally halfway between Punxsutawney and State College.
Okay.
They're maybe an hour west of there.
So Route 80, yeah, definitely Interstate 80.
So what we'll do is this. We're going to keep the feed here, but we're going to cut the audio so that way you can see the championship trophy presentation of GEFA. Congratulations to the Moshannon Valley Vikings, the winners of the 2022 GEFA Championship, defeating the Dauphin County Comanche by a final score of 26-18. So we're going to wrap up the audio part. We're going to keep the video on so you see the trophy presentation for Howard Gaber and, of course, doing his first time, Rich Harrigan. And he did a great job today. I'm Tom Wilkins. We're signing off here from HSG Network. Enjoy the trophy presentation, and congrats again to the Moshannon Valley Vikings. Happy Father's Day, everybody, and enjoy your weekend.
Happy Father's Day.
Myself, I want to say thank you and great job to the Valley Champs, the Dauphin County Comanche, and the presentation for the Keystone Bowl Championship Trophy to your champions this year, Moshannon Valley Vikings! Hold on, I'm not done yet. All right. We have this tradition where we give out the MVP for the Keystone Bowl. We had a lot of contenders for this, but this year's Keystone Bowl 18 MVP, Rob Albro. Rob, get your old ass over here.
Once again, as we sign off today from Kutztown University, the final score, Moshannon Valley 26, Dauphin County 18. I'd like to thank all of you from GEFA and all you fans here on the HSG Network for watching our contest today. Thanks very much for joining us. We're going to cut out now. Enjoy your weekend. Again, happy Father's Day tomorrow, and catch us soon here on the HSG Network.